your life. literally don't attack, like at all, at all. It's only traps. It's only this. It's only a couple things, but the shield never opens. It's just not a thing.
I think too many people got burned out of Old Nations, and I get jealous when I see the reports from Old Nations where you guys have
Did you see the
actual
reports with
battles.
333 and 278? How about the farmers who share the report with a whole lopsided, in our favor battle report, but we lost troops, they didn't. But it's like 5 million versus like 80 million, and they're like, "Oh, we won! Yay! Yay! It's so amazing. We didn't lose any troops. Look how many troops of theirs we killed." But
Yep.
the swing of the points just went like 1.5 billion points the other way,
Hey guys, they're saying that you guys are muted on YouTube.
That's a hockey. That's a Hokage. I can't help with that.
Oh yeah, well they're saying you're muted on
I'm
YouTube.
I'm trying to fix it.
It's
I
fixed now.
just
They said.
asked I just
There
asked
you
if they
go.
can hear now.
Okay. Well, just tell them we're just talking the same old shit about Void, so they didn't miss anything. I do think there's not like a Void record thing that you can look up within the game. I mean, I've heard that you can ask VIP or whatever, and I know that other people track it. And honestly, I've never believed in the whole T4 nation list, and I don't really believe in the blacklist of people that don't fight. I don't know who gets to decide who's on that list or not, but I would say a change that the community could make is instead of tracking who won head of state, just start tracking the kill event, at least alongside it. Because having an amazing head of state record is very cool, and the people that are undefeated for however many, congratulations, keep it up. I would do the same in your shoes. But most of us don't care about that, and we would actually rather see, like, I mean, I got my merge, so I'm done with caring about this, but I'd rather merge with a nation that loses head of state and wins the kill event every time versus a nation that wins head of state every time and doesn't win the kill event.
Or even if they're like, even if they're, I hear what you're saying, but like at the end of the day, when you're not fighting in phase 5, that's the part that sucks. It's like literally the one time a month that I get to kill an enemy's troop. Because I don't have civil wars in 425 or 357 for that matter anymore. So it's like literally the only time I can see on a report lost. You know, and for me that still gets me warm and fuzzy inside. And so I wait all month for this, whatever. And I agree, and I think you guys have heard me over the last, handful of months, not necessarily change, but I totally agree with the not pushing for head of state. I mean, especially because of the rewards. I think the rewards are bullshit. I think the fact that only one skin is given out, for the top person, and then I think that's all very superficial, if you would. So the long and short of it is, like, I think if you're not fighting in phase 5, it's, I don't know, it's just fucking gay. I don't know what else to say other than that.
I
Defend,
mean,
cool. Make traps, cool. But also reciprocate. Like if you get a big trap and you kill some troops, like I don't know, like maybe I'm just a fair guy, but I think it would only be fair for you to hit my trap that I now open for you. Like let's have a good time, man. Waste a couple of them fucking troops you got in there. You just got some of mine. Good job, bravo. Whether I won or lost the report, you got some of my troops. You closed your trap down. You can't just give us one, like one little itch for the 24 hours that we're playing. It's so fucking stupid. We know that you have 70 people online. You just came out of Elite War, and you don't attack the 4 traps we have sitting in front of you. Like, are you serious?
yeah,
And
that's exactly
it's
what happened
crazy.
to us today. They came out of Elite War, and we were like, all
Me
right, now's the
too.
time that we'll get action, right?
Me
None.
too, dude. Me too. I swear.
I
431
mean,
came out of Elite War with 70. I counted them myself, bro. There were 70. We had 3 open cities, all with troops when they all came out. Not one attack, man. It's crazy to me. It's crazy.
but I know Camel's not going to add or change anything. Well, at least I don't expect Camel to add or change anything, and that's fine. But a lot of people go to the spreadsheet server and they ask the AI what somebody's win rate on head of state is. And as far as I know, that's calculated by collecting data from all of the posts about the head of state at the end. There's no reason that you couldn't collect the end of phase 4, the end of phase 5, calculate the difference, and track both. What I want to know what a nation's head of state record is. I also want to know what their kill event record is. And if their kill event record is trash, then I'm not that excited.
I agree, brother. I don't necessarily know that that's out there. I think the people that pay attention to the game enough, for the most part, know, what to expect from, a majority of nations out there. I think it is getting to the point, even in your, I used to use like the 800 nations as like a, whatever the old and new, and I think you're kind of leaching into that realm of things where you're no longer, say, a newer nation per se. And you guys now have especially now you're getting merged, man. Fucking cool. Bravo for doing all the little suggestions that all the guys who came before you, told you to do. And again, I think over time, Camel said, all right, these are the next ones that are up for whatever. And I think it's perfect that you're not going to drop and kind of, I don't want to say force, but suggest everybody just goes pound town on like head of state or something like that. I'm anxious to see how you guys put these two nations together and shit like that. So I'll be watching for conversation's sake.
Yeah, I mean the merge discussions were easy. I mean, they should come up to 785. I don't think anyone would argue with that. We used Alliance Tech to determine the top 3 alliances. We have a couple academies planned. We have enough room for everyone. We're never going to probably see another merge. So we might as well just give everyone a chance to grow and hopefully be good. And we'll try to play a lot of events. But to be honest, I mean, a free player can't play everything. So we still have to prioritize the events that we care about. We're basically just adding the kill event also. And I mean, we'll probably play GC, of course. We'll free play everything else for merit, like everyone should. But I'm hearing more and more that like too many people are getting burned out by trying to play every event. So we're not trying to fall into that trap. We're not trying to do a spreadsheet alliance either. We're just going to
The
just take
spreadsheet
the.
alliance. That's amazing.
You know what I mean? People merge and they're like, "Who's got the best stats? Welcome to the top 100." I don't. Has that ever worked for anyone?
I mean, yeah, there's definitely, there's definitely some powerhouses out there with all the proper
No, no.
cities.
I'm not saying that you can't get all the best together. I'm saying that you should get it together organically. You can't just force people to come together and be like, "Okay, now we're all here. Everyone get along and let's win
Yeah,
everything."
I mean that's exactly what 425 did, and that's why we have 3 essentially organic, alliances, and you know, I think there will be a day that we merge together for whatever reason, but that day is not now. And because of that, it allowed these other alliances to have whales, to have strong players, and all of those nice things. So yeah, I agree with those things.
Well, we have the strange situation also of these guys didn't. We told them that we come with numbers, but they didn't necessarily like. A lot of people say that, right? And then we went to Wasteland, and I think our total this week was, I want to say 92, might have been 93. And then we showed them that, and they were like, "Oh, you actually really come with numbers." And it's like, yeah, that's why I can't just go kick 30 people out and welcome your 30 strongest. But we'll be happy to take your 8 strongest, and then we'll also change the requirements for the alliance.
I mean,
So then
all I did
anybody,
was like minds, and I think
yeah,
this well enough. It's just like, hey, you know what we're about. It's clear what we're about, and if you can be at, these events at these times and, you're willing to join and fucking partake in the things that we're partaking in, fucking I'll make room for you. And then that's when, the availability slash participation and stats come into play, because then I'll go to the bottom of the board, the R1s, if you would, and and I'll look for the weakest slash least participating member, or the one that always has excuses, why he's not there. You know what I'm saying?
For sure. I already told everyone on the team that if they miss 2 priority events in a row, then they got to go find another alliance for at least 7 days, and that's it. We're not going to come hunt anybody down. You control your own destiny. If you show up to the priority events, you're good. You'll probably even get a city upgrade now. But if you're not showing up, then welcome to one of the other alliances. But we're also not trying to have like, you know, one is better than two is better than three. We're trying to say come to one if you want to play aggressively, and then maybe two and three is a little bit better to optimize based on time. So you can try to optimize participation in those alliances as well. I mean, I'm not going to control them or influence them in any way, but I would love to see them succeed in like, the 2 other time slots that we're not going to play in.
Meaning you don't want to bump heads with the other alliances in your nation? I'm sorry, you lost me there.
Uh,
Like for time
just
slot purposes?
we're good. We have to play in our time slot because it's where the most powerful cities and the most active cities play, right? So we're just going to take our time slot regardless. But there's going to be 2 other time slots, and rather than pretending like the second alliance is better than the third, it might be better to just say one of those alliances should take one time slot and the other alliance take the other time slot. So then, just for argument's sake, maybe the West Coast America and the Asians play together and they just dominate that time slot. And then maybe, I don't know, Europeans and Africans play in the other time slot, or something like that. I don't really know what makes sense. I mean, let's be honest. We all play when we want. Some people play in the morning before work. Some people play after work. Some people pretend they take a shit and play in the middle of the day. So if you can
Thanks.
optimize and have an entire alliance aligned on like we play events at 2100 server time, or we play events at 3 o'clock server time, or something like that, your participation is going to naturally be better. So we're trying to. I think that they should try to organize like that. I'm just a participation guy, really. What you want me to do is simplify it, and we'll simplify it too. I'm a participation guy. So rather than trying to organize them as a hierarchy, put a time slot to where the participation can be the max.
You know where this is going to benefit you is this. So say if there's 2 or 3 alliances, there's going to be growth. So down the roads, people still want to leave. So it gives options to get into that city too, because someone's growing it because they can grow.
For sure. Yeah, we're just trying to take it like that. But we'll have 2 academies too, and there can be some overlap on times there, and we'll see. I mean, this is the advice that I would give other people merging. I'm not trying to dominate the
Let's go.
conversation.
Let's
Just trying to make
go.
a point.
Let's partake in the academy conversation. What is going to be in the academy, Holbrook? Let's talk about
Oh,
that.
I mean, there's
Let's
two
talk
different
about that
ways
for
to
a
have.
second.
There's
I
two different
want
ways
to. I
to have
want to
that
know. I
conversation.
want to know what the hell this is, because I'm about to talk some shit, but I want to know what your definition of this is before I talk shit.
Uh, First, you have to tell me: do you want to talk after Second Merge Academy or before Second Merge Academy?
Define academy. I need you to define academy first.
I mean, before your second merge, Academy is the people that you should have burned, and you're too afraid to do it, and that's why your nation doesn't get a merge.
Okay, but you have that still.
No, we don't have an Academy, bro. We burn everything below the top 2 alliances.
That's okay. Good. That's what I thought. So now you're gonna take on an academy or two
Now
of
we're gonna,
them. I heard.
yeah, now we're gonna take on 2 of them because we don't expect another merge for 2 years. So we might as well let everybody grow and see what happens organically. Maybe we can do something in GC. But even if they leak points, then that's a problem, right? But as long as they don't leak points, why do I care what they do?
Oh, I mean, I hear you to a certain degree, but if there's not, I don't know. Yeah, that's a big conversation, because what's over there is can left to its own devices can make you look real bad. But if you don't really care about head of state, for convo's sake, then it really shouldn't matter, I suppose. But the leakage of point, I mean, I'm assuming you're gonna have like BP caps on them or something. You gotta
Oh,
have something. You can't just have like some fat farmer with like 60 million BP hanging out C35 or something gay. You can't have
the
that.
the whole nation already has troop limits, and 667 had limits very similar to 785s. So
Oh, okay. Cool. That's good.
that discussion was literally like they posted their rules, we posted ours. They said, "Oh, yours are a little more aggressive." I said, "Yeah, what do you think?" And they said, "We'll take them." And that was the end of the conversation. So we got the same troop limits. That's not a problem.
Oh, cool.
The other
All right, good.
So when I call something an academy, everybody's like, "What does academy mean? Define it." When I call something an academy, it only means two simple things. Well, it means you follow the rules like everybody else, of course, but it means two simple things. You're not getting a city. If you want a governor or whatever, go join one of the top three, and you don't get R5. The top alliance is going to have R5 of both academies, so that nobody can fuck around and ruin either one of those alliances. The academies can be, you can
Are they
look.
allowed to fight?
They're allowed to do anything they want. They're allowed to do everything they want. They just need to follow the rules. And as long as you have R5, you can kick out anyone that's causing problems and you can check the battle reports. So I know nobody's lying to me. Like if you're not leaking points, but you are fighting smart, great.
So
That's
so
awesome.
is slamming your C35 city SOS into a 40 million BP C38, is that considered leaking points?
I mean, I think we both know it is, right?
I'm asking because that's what these fuckers are gonna do, Holbrook. I mean, I love you, bro. So for me personally, this is what my own suggestion, right? Because I have like a version of an academy, or the people that I don't allow whatever fucking the governors and all that bullshit. If you go look at 425, I think there's a fourth and a fifth alliance, even if you would. But they're only allowed to quote fight in a group. No, none of that one-on-one shit.
Yeah.
So that's a suggestion. Take it for what it's worth.
No,
And for
that's
the
why.
most part, the only thing you get out of them because of that is shield drops. That's my experience anyway.
That's
So
why we're
there's some
that's why we're
cool.
demanding. So we have two alliances that are going to be the academies, and they're fine. We're going to have the R5, and to enforce what you're talking about, you have to have R5 just to see the battle log. Demand the battle report. If the battle report is crazy, talk to them. If they do two crazy reports twice in a row or whatever, then they got to get kicked out. I mean, everybody can be reasonable, and if you have R5, you can be reasonable. But that's it. That is, it's not.
Okay. When you have R5, meaning one of your members of your team is gonna manage that alliance.
It's going to be a second city of mine or somebody else's.
Got it. Okay. All right. That's a lot of work, but I hear you. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, usually it's not, right? Because everybody, let's be honest, people love to tell on each other. And so somebody's going to be like, "Man, did you see
So fucking
the
true,
academy?"
bro.
Somebody will say the academy's leaking points, and then all you have to do is be like, "Hey, send me that report." And when you don't have R5, you can't do anything. There's, "Oh, I can't find it. I already deleted it, blah, blah, blah." But when you have R5, it's like, "Send me the report." You either send it or, adios. So that's why we're making this demand. And there is an alliance from the merge, my second alliance, of course, from 785. And they're refusing to give up R5. And I'm like, okay. And they're like, "Oh, you're gonna create civil war again?" I'm like, "You don't seem to understand. I'm not gonna create civil war. We haven't played KE for a year because of you guys. But the nation we're merging with wants to play KE. And when you guys refuse to do the nation rules, it's not me that's gonna come for you. It's them. So that should be fun."
Is that alliance one of the techs that you were referencing earlier that is decent in your nation or of the top three?
No, they're not even in the top three in tech. That's the problem, right? Like
Got it.
you have four nations, I think, that merged into 667. So they have a year or whatever ahead of us. And they're four nations versus only our two nations. So this alliance would be an academy anyways. And we said to them, "You have to change nothing. Zero. Absolutely not one single thing. You just have to hand over R5. You can say who the R4 is, who's in charge. That person's the leader, no problem. You guys can do everything that you want. It is your academy, but give us R5." And they said no. And I said, "Okay, but I'm not your problem, and I'm going to enjoy the fireworks."
Do we have an over under on once you guys emerge, how long before they, hand it over?
2 weeks.
I think they're.
2 weeks.
I think. I think their players will just move. Like we have another academy that has space where we already have R5, and the deal is the same. Literally, the same players can just move over, except for whoever's too stubborn, and they can have leadership and run that academy
Is it just the
exactly
leader
the same
that's
way.
saying that, or is the whole team saying "fuck off"?
It's the leader and a couple of their followers that have been running propaganda. Like, you don't understand. These guys have been, quote unquote, selling cities to each other for inflated prices for a year so that they can say, like, oh, my C41 that has stats of a C35 is $15,000. So you shouldn't sell your city with whatever garbage stats for less than $2,000. And so these guys have
Hilarious.
been, yeah, I mean, it's a great propaganda move, to be honest. They've been
Yeah,
hyping
yeah.
each other up for, they kept each other together and hyped each other up for years. But the problem is now we got merged and they're trying to like DM people from 667, and the people from 667 are like, "Yeah, none of this makes sense, right?" And we're like, "Yeah, yeah. Well, welcome to our second alliance. Feel free to take care of them however you need to." So, just a cautionary tale for the farmers out there. You can run your propaganda game for a little while, but eventually when you get merged, it's not the people in your nation. Like, cuz that's the thing. I could never exterminate these guys because let's call it 20 to 50% of the people in my alliance are friends with all of them. So it's tough to exterminate them when you have a bunch of friends in there. But now 667 can come in with their 200, 300 active players and they all want to win KE, and there's no loyalty there. So I've been trying to tell him. I literally messaged one of the smart guys over there today. I was like, hey, what's your plan? He's like, yeah, no, we don't have any plans. Like, so you have like mail saying like, oh, we're going to hold it together like always? He's like, no, no, we have nothing. I'm like, okay, so you understand that this other nation doesn't care about you and you guys are refusing the rules. How do you think that's going to work out? And he was like, yeah, no, I don't think anyone has a plan. I don't really care. I guess they'll destroy this alliance and I'll move. Just like, my mind is blown. How do people even play this game like that, thinking just live in denial until your whole alliance is destroyed? I don't get it.
That's what they do, man. I had a similar experience with Alliance by the, similar experience. I don't know what I was saying. 425 before our second merger. And it was like, you guys don't do anything. You have cities over there. Give us the R5 so we can at least, watch / train / try to help. And they said no. And they all got burned. I don't know what else to say.
So
A good
the
handful of them transferred over to Mott and, survived. But I do feel like once we got merged and they weren't like quote top three, it was like the nail in the coffin for them, you know?
you know how this stuff goes though. Like ego is the problem, and I think we've all experienced how hard it is, if not impossible, to force people to let go of the past, or just everything that we say all the time. Get over your ego. Just come together. We can win
In a general
together.
way, brother, you only control your actions and attitudes, not those of others. you
Right.
know?
But we accidentally found a cheat code, which was just ignoring them completely. We just started playing alliance events and we ignored them completely. And does it suck to get on here every 2 weeks and say, "Yep, we lost again. Another head of state. We lost again." Absolutely, it sucks. But a weird side effect of that is, like, I didn't have to deal with these guys, and I still don't. I'm still not even upset with them. Like, oh, you're not allowed to join this or that. No one's on a blacklist. Everybody's welcome to go wherever they want. One of the players from the alliance the stubborn alliance I'm talking about, applied to our alliance and joined like 2 days ago. We didn't say like, oh no, you're part of the bad crew or whatever. Like, everybody's welcome to make a smart decision. And by only focusing on alliance events, we basically starved them out. So they wanted to play nation events and they couldn't win them, obviously. And we weren't trying to win them because they were giving away points anyway. So it didn't make sense to. They
Yeah.
eventually just got bored and sold. And now, even when we merge, I'm not the one threatening them. I don't have to. I can just say literally the same thing. Hey,
Yeah.
these guys
So,
are a
yeah.
problem. If you deal with them, then great. We'll play nation events. If you don't want to deal with them, that's fine too. We'll still we'll make a run at the top of pole or whatever.
So is that kind of the consensus? You guys are gonna grab, 10 or so of the the other team, and are they gonna create their own little thing with the rest of them? You know, because you're only taking, you know, whatever a handful into your team. Is that how it's working?
We're not accepting anybody else from 785 into the top alliance, and we're going to save that room for the top of 667 that wants to come over. There'll be no pressure whatsoever, and they can come over and have, hopefully have a good time. I think you know how this goes, right? They'll come over. We're going to have a polar battle report where we have 75 people involved in an S battle or something like that. That's going to go on NC, and then anybody active and strong is going to want to be part of that, and anybody who doesn't want to be part of that doesn't fit in the top alliance anyways.
Yeah, I agree. Cool. I like it.
Hey man, we're instead of trying to like argue with people and to make demands and burn them or whatever, the cheat code for us turned out to be a lot more simple. Just ignore them and focus on what you can win without the other people, and just post battle reports and be like, I mean, we had a battle report recently that was like 63 people in S at the end, and we still had 13 time defense coming after that, and we won, obviously, dominatingly. And if you don't want to be a part of that, then I don't really want you to be a part of my alliance, because I need people that are excited about events and want to win, want to play together.
So is Elite War in the coming priority events?
I don't think so, man. Like, you protect your free players, or you at least talk about them more than anyone. If we're 13 in Polar, we're gonna keep playing Polar and doing well at it. We have a 18 or 19, I don't even remember, Wasteland win streak. We're gonna keep
Bro, if you
playing
can
that.
show up with that similar amount in Elite War, you're gonna go down to rank 20 just organically. The merit numbers will jump up 3-4x from where you are now every week. You know, and you
You're
probably
not
don't get
wrong, but
challenged much anymore. But once people figure it out, but in the meantime, while you're going up the ranks, you know, Dodo Birds challenge you, and you know, again, the merit will be pretty good. And even if you know, I know you can't potentially get into say that you know whatever the tops like you talk about, but at the end of the day, I mean, again, the merit difference is substantial. You know, if you were to get from whatever rank you are now to, I don't know, let's call it 50 for conversation's sake. You know.
I'm telling you, the Polar and the Wasteland
And you would do it for
participation.
free. You know, you wouldn't have to
No, no, no.
spend to get there.
I'm telling you that's the thing. It's such a cheat code, man, because now we took your pattern for the first time today. We took your pattern actually and used it. So we did our Elite War today, and then we hung out and fought KE, and then whenever we couldn't find anything, we did Doom. And because everybody's already so used to logging in for Polar and Wasteland, we get over 70 on Elite War without making it a priority event. So we're going to creep our way up in Elite War also. I'm not going to call it a priority event, but I don't have to. We won our Elite War today.
Yeah. Nice. Good. Yeah. Because if you guys do that, I mean, the same way that, you know, we talk about getting free players, some merit, blah, blah, blah. I mean, we had 635 today for Elite War, and it was 35 seconds long. But all my players got 600 merit, you know, not a heal, not a speed, nothing. 600 merit. Top guys that were in the battle with me got 900, whatever. But 600 merit, fucking 2 minutes, not even 45 seconds, whatever it was. You know, so it's a good way, especially if you guys can get the participation in a Elite War similar to what you get in the other events that you deem priority. You know, the merit's going to jump up substantially. That's all I'm saying. I know it's not priority for you, but it is a weekly thing that you can, you know. And again, there's going to be some dodo birds along the way. They're going to challenge you, you know. And I think those are great opportunities for you to get some extra merit, man, especially with the new team.
So I think I'm always just trying to take advice from you guys, and I think it's all coming together pretty decently for us. So there are several people I believe in 667 that want to win everything, and so they're going to push whatever I call a priority or not. So that's exciting already.
Is
But
there good cities there? I'm sorry, I didn't even look at 667. I just never heard of them before, so I kind of just put them off to the side. Is it a good nation? Did I not give them any credit in my mind? Are they good or what?
I think they're a great match for us. It sounds like one of their top. Honestly, I didn't bother to look at the cities either. Right? This is my new marriage. It doesn't matter if I like it or not.
Yeah, no, I
Um,
agree with you, brother. You're not feeling it. Feel that.
but I heard this guy. I heard this guy's got a mid guns. I heard guns has got a mid range city with I don't know 2,000 melee HP and 2,000 attack. I'm getting these numbers wrong because I didn't even like. This is who I'm working with, regardless of what their numbers are. But that's a strong mid-range city, which is exciting as hell. I got a mid-range city to match up with me. We already got a mid-range C41 too. There's already a long-range C41 in 785, and there's a long-range, I want to say C41 in 667. So we got 2 mid-range and 3 long-range now that are all working together. So that should be a good matchup. It seems like these guys want to win everything, and we're a little bit more disciplined. But the thing is, it really does come together with our participation's already so strong. And then when we stole your pattern, so now we have people showing up for Elite Wars. We're not prioritizing Elite Wars, but we are prioritizing the kill event. And because we're prioritizing the kill event, the way to get your points is to show up for the time between Elite Wars or before Elite Wars or after Doom, between Elite and Doom. So there's like 2-3 hours there.
Did you pay attention? How many people asked in the chat, when are we gonna do Doom?
Oh, bro, so many people are worried about Doom, and so many people are also worried about.
I
Yeah, but if we
love it, dude. But they're
if we-
online just waiting, bro. You're just sitting there waiting.
and they're like, but if we go over and fight them in their nation, then we have to teleport back to do Doom. And I didn't want to say it, but it's like, yeah, that's the price now.
Exactly.
So it works.
That is 100% correct.
So like I think that's the trick, is putting these puzzle pieces together. So you make the kill event the priority. People are going to show up for Elite War because they want to get their kill event points, and they're going to get their kill event points by fighting as part of the team. So right after Elite War, we went straight into the other nation and we literally wrecked everything. Every trap, every open city, everything we could possibly find. Just like sending fleet after fleet after fleet, made them quit basically. And then we did Doom. And everybody got their points, everyone opened their boxes. There's still like 40 people online for Doom, which I laughed at. Somebody
so
said that.
funny to me, bro.
Yeah.
I've been doing this shit since we were like seed 30s, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like for real.
Yeah.
I've been doing this shit since like seed 30.
This is what works, man. People are like, how did you turn 785 around? And I'm like, by listening to people that have already done it, that are smarter than me, and doing what they say. So
Yeah, the
it
Doom
works.
Dangle has been a winner for a long time. That's it's been great, and still to this day. I mean, literally today, I had somebody in chat. When are we doing Doom? Like literally today. So yeah, and then when they start it, I just go to the other nation. Like if I'm in 357, I go to 425, or I'm 425, I go to 357. I don't even want to be bothered with it.
I just hung out in the other nation thinking, maybe when they see everybody finally left and they're going to do Doom.
Yeah, do the same shit.
But still nothing. No, I totally stole that from you. You said you hang out to see what happens. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna hang out. But whatever. I mean, it's also great, right? How hyped do you think the team was that we literally went to the other nation and murdered everything, and then there was literally nothing left to do but go do Doom?
Yeah, it feels good, but here's also the thing is, and you'll figure this out if you continue. You'll see that the final handful of hours, it lags. So if you are trying to push to win, and I'm not say that you guys are, but sometimes 425 does that. We find ourselves not having the valid participation then because people are like checked out. It's like, oh, I got my boxes open. We did no, there's no more events. Doom's done. But like I'm good. Like I don't even need, as long as my shield's good, blah blah blah. So we do find some struggles there. I mean, outside of like banging Discord a million times to get people online, but for the most part, having organic people online in the final handful of hours or whatever, after that, bit in the morning, does tend to be a little bit more difficult.
So we all hop online, even for non-priority event. So we all hopped online starting at Elite War. I've been online since Elite War this morning. I'm talking VC on Discord, on and off, but hop on for Elite War. Stay on, obviously, for attacking in KE. When they did Doom, I went and grabbed some food or something like that. Came back. There's still people on VC. There was never a moment where our VC ended while the kill event was still going on. And it's always just, chit chat, target, reinforce here. And, that's why we won the kill event. We didn't win.
Uh,
We didn't win the
Quick
whole thing, but
question
we won
about
the
the
tournament.
merger thing again. Are you taking on any other leadership, or your R4 staying the same?
Um, I mean, again, we're not trying to like organize a spreadsheet and you get this and you get that. It's more like, hey, you guys just join us. And do one of you need R4? Sure, man, you can have R4. I don't care. Like a bunch of my R4s, I know that the R4 thing varies by culture, but like, Beef is here. Beef is an R4. And he was like, I don't need to be R4. I don't care. You can demote
Yeah.
me, put me wherever. I'm sure Obi's on here too. He doesn't care. Like the Americans don't care about being
Yeah,
R4.
but a Japanese or something like that, you better believe they care.
And we already have a Japanese, and we'll be happy to have another one. And then they can talk to each other about how great the alliance is. And we have we have a Russian already who's awesome. And if we need another one, or whatever, like I kind of prefer having a mix. So we also have a someone that speaks Arabic. Like I kind of prefer find whatever language sucks, and we kind of know which languages suck in this game, and those are your good R4s. So I have a guy that speaks French because I think translation sucks. We have a guy who speaks Korean, but like five other languages, which is super helpful. Japanese is super helpful. Russian is super helpful. We don't have Turkish. That's another one that's terrible for anyone that's trying to figure out what sucks. But I try to actually have R4s based on that ability. And so I'll send a message out and be like, here's how we're going to do strategy for Wasteland this week. And then I'll just tag all of those people and be like, hey, Kanta, can you tell everybody in Japanese what I'm trying to say? Hey, warning, can you tell everybody in Russian what I'm
Yeah.
trying to say?
You gotta have that. You gotta have that communication there, 100%. Especially for important stuff, like whatever your priorities are. Like I tend to only really do it for GC, or specific, whatevers. But yeah, it's definitely needed. With the game chat, especially if you're only doing in game. I'll tell you that Discord's not as bad. We have translators and stuff in our Discord server for GFK. It's definitely not as bad as the in game. I don't know what the hell they use in game, but it's not as good as whatever
I think
Discord.
it's I think it's bad on purpose, and Big Bird corrected me. It sounds like I was ambiguous. I'm not saying the languages suck. I'm saying the translator sucks at all of these languages. And I literally think it's on purpose. Like, LG famously said something a while ago where it was like, you said, good job, Koreans. And the game translated to, like, I hate you, Koreans. And
Dude, I
there's
literally
a,
put a handshake emoji. That was it. I put a hand. This is real true story. I put a handshake emoji. Every language was fine, but in Korean and in 357, we had an entire Korean alliance that we were on the verge of going to civil war with. If you were Korean, it essentially said, "Eat a big fucking dick." It's essentially what it said in a nice way. Like if you're Korean, you guys don't know how to hide. You guys all suck. Blah blah blah. It was like a whole sentence, and all I put was a fucking handshake emoji.
Yeah, so I've actually seen this because one of the guys that hates me the most in 785 speaks Korean. And sometimes I'll read his messages and just be like, this isn't even, the translation isn't even insulting. It just doesn't make sense. And then I'll go to Google Translate and it'll be something completely different. So I just kind of gave up, and I want to have people that can send the real idea rather than the crazy, terrible translation within the game. But it's so bad, I think they're doing it on purpose. It's crazy.
I think it's funny sometimes, especially that whole Korean thing. Like me and Rusty, shout out Rusty from 357, was my boy back in the day. Me and him were literally on voice chat. Like, this is ridiculous. Like, are you seeing this right now? Because I had somebody send it to me, like, Lika, why'd you say this? I'm like, I didn't say that. Look, I put a fucking handshake emoji. What the hell are you talking about? You know? I
I've
was like, well, we can fight, if that's what you want to do. You want to fight?
My version of that is I sent a message and it was like, everyone's important for Polar, and so just show up for Polar if you can, and if you can't play the whole thing, show up 40 minutes in, and if you can't even do that, just show up 5 minutes before the end and take your troops and send to S. Just, it's important that we play Polar together. Participation is important. Everybody's troops are important. Just this, like, the most motivational, my non-motivational American ass can be. And this French woman who's awesome immediately sends me a message, and she's like, This translates to don't bother to show up to Polar. I'm like, what? Oh my god, I can't delete it either. Come on.
It's amazing, dude. Yes. See, that's the good stuff, man. And then next Polar War, you got 43 people. You know.
I had to send a follow up
It's
that was
giving
like,
Big Bird suggestion too for this season of Polar War. Sent the messages. Team's a little hyped up. First round, we just got the matches today. 255 is not there, so we should have a good little round of at least the first round before we get 255. But even then, we're gonna try to dominate the rest of the board and just kind of leave them alone. You know.
yeah, is that the strategy? Stick to your time slot and stay away from them and be the best after them.
Yeah, pretty much. See how it goes. See if 255 wants to engage us, but I think that it's better that we don't, and then essentially we'll just allow them to save more bags. It's like kind of like the way I'm thinking of it in my mind. It's like they're not going to fight us because they'll blow a bag. If they just sit there and take their half of the board and leave us the fuck alone, like we'll take care of the rest. They might have to
absolutely.
take like a wing attack or something, like a flank, from the other side. They might have to handle themselves. But anything that's coming from our side, I'm gonna have to handle that. So, yeah, should be fun.
I'm real interested to see if you really keep getting screwed and keep getting them, or if you play seriously and maybe you get them like twice and then you don't, and then maybe you get them again. I want to see how your season goes. I guess we'll see also if I end up meeting up with you guys since now we'll be merged. I
I
have
think
no
Holbrook,
sound.
some of the
Are you guys in the 8 a.m. time slot? Sorry.
Yeah,
For
we are. I
Alright.
think I lost you guys for a second, but yeah, we're in the same time slot as you guys. Go Bird.
yeah, I was just listening to you talk about your merge, and some of the things that jumped out to me as potential takeaways are avoiding friction points that don't matter. So things like, who's going to be R4. If that's a friction point, then your team has decided that some of the current R4s will drop down because who is R4 doesn't really matter. Leaders will rise to the top organically. And I think that was kind of a theme that I heard throughout is if there's a friction point that doesn't matter, then make it not a friction point in the merge. I mean, when merges were more common, you would see people allow egos to get in the way of the nation coming together. And I think that's something that folks who are not 785 who are getting their merge news, that's something that I would take away is like, don't let egos get in the way. And to your point about not even looking at the city levels, it doesn't really matter who they are, so to speak. It's who you're merging with. So make the best of it, especially in the current climate of very few mergers. You're going to have to make the best of it because there's not going to be a change. And if you got a merger now, you're not likely to get one for some time. Another thing that I thought was interesting was you kind of widening the number of alliances that you allowed. And to your point that you made, which I thought was very astute, long term, you're not going to get a merge for a long time. So long term, it's better to have more people growing for a number of different reasons, some of which you mentioned and some of which maybe you didn't. But I think long term, when you get a merge, it's also a point where people are the most excited right after getting your merge news. And you want it to go well to capitalize on that excitement and to build momentum as a newly merged nation.
Yeah, for sure. I still think people should really, everything you said is true. And I still think people should really focus on participation more than they think they should. So when we were talking to these guys about how we're going to organize everything, they were like, we really need to get all the best in the top alliance. And I was like, yeah, okay, I hear you, but we can do this organically. And they're like, no, we need to get everyone in the top alliance. And then I realized that they've been trying to get their super alliance together, and their top guys are tired of spending on everything. And whenever I sent them our parts, so I literally sent a video of our participation going back to August, and we have nothing under like 78, and our max is 98. And so I sent that, and that comment discussion ever again. It wasn't like, oh, we still need to get everyone in. I was like, bro, we're rolling deep, and whoever doesn't want to fight with us, you don't want to fight with them either. And they were just like, yep, cool. We want to join that. We're going to fill in those spots. Let's try to get to 100. And as long as we stay at that participation number, then everybody who's strong is going to want, like, it naturally works, right? Because none of us want to waste a bunch of money forcing wins. We want to play cheap with a team, succeed together. And so, like, we don't need to figure out the spreadsheet on who's got the stats. We just post the report and say, this is where you come play where you don't have to spend a bag and you can still win with everyone. And it comes naturally.
Yeah, I kind of asked the leader question earlier just to give Bird some more info to see if you were going to get some help. You know, is there anything of value outside of some fighters and some participation? Because leaders are few and far between. You know, as I think we all know, and getting some new ones, some good ones, you know, could really help the team. I'll also add for the head of state stuff, because you're getting a merge, whereas a lot of the nations around you have either one already been merged or two not merged yet. You're going to have a big advantage in 1 to 4. You're going to organically go into 5 ahead, more than likely, without spending. You know, maybe there's some recruitment points in there, whatever. So you are going to have a nice little, more than likely, depending on matchups, a nice little, you know, I don't want to call it a streak, but a good way to go into phase 5 to generate, you know, some decent battles one way or the other. Because maybe you're fighting somebody who does want to win, but they can't out recruit a newly merged nation, you know, without really going hard type shit. So you know what I'm saying. So I think that that'll really kind of play in your favor to get, you know, whatever your newly merged nation some good battles in phase 5, and even more advantageous battles that they're going to have to come to you because you're going to be the ones that are, you know, more than likely up in the first 4.
Yeah, we have the benefit of being a place that burned out R4s and R5s come to find happiness. And so we actually have tons of people that know what they're doing already and could be R5s elsewhere, and they want to be R1s, and that's a gift on its own. And so that's why when people ask me about this merge, they're like, "Is it a great merge?" And then they want to go look at 667, and it's like that's not the way that I'm looking at it. It's not the way that I think it's going to work out, because we already have a bunch of great leaders, and if we get some more leaders, then even better. And
I
the
mean,
great
bro, it
leaders,
sounds just like my merge, you know, respectfully.
yeah,
With
no,
five. It
that's
sounds like
actually
a
that's actually what
very,
somebody said. Somebody said
very,
this is like Lead God's good merge, and I was like, yeah, man, I'm happy about it. The leadership thing is good, and then the other thing that's good, because you and I have the same attitude on this. You know how you're always like, look, I don't care who's number one, me or Mental. I just want to see GFK up there, and you're happy for Mental to be up there. So apparently, Guns
yeah.
and
One of my
Fonzie.
buddies in the alliance today texted me because Mental recently passed me in officer power. So shout out Mental for continuing to do his thing. Um, but
Yeah, same.
somebody texted me and was like, "Yo, how is that possible?" And I'm like, "I don't. What? Maybe he's got a triple S where I don't. It doesn't necessarily matter to me. But fucking, it's awesome. You know, like
And
those.
all you care about is the team winning, and that's where I'm at. Like, these guys coming in, apparently they always fight each other for the top spot, and it's like, great, I'll take third, and if
Yeah,
somebody else wants to start
that'll be
fighting,
good
I'll
for
take
you. Yeah.
fourth.
Well, you know, it gives you, you know, and I know you're, you know, I don't. Are you even R5 over there? You're not.
I'm R5. I'll stay R5. Sadly.
You're okay. So if you're R5 over there, you're in a similar position to me. Like I stand back and I watch because I don't have to be as aggressive, you know. And after the merge comes by, you know, you get to whatever get a feel for everybody, obviously, but in the grand scheme of things, you can literally stand back and strategize and plan and whatever, go from there. But once everybody comes to play, you'll see who's motivated in the beginning, and then don't take that as the KPI though, because that's just in the beginning motivation. Do it like 3 months from now. It's like, all right, these guys still doing this shit 3 months from now? Great. Like these are the ones I can rely on. There's a certain band that when Kill Event starts, I immediately give these handful of players, the positions, and it's not like Mental or Nismo, because they're typically not there in the beginning of Kill Event. It's these other handful of guys that are aggressive as fuck in Kill Event, and you can't have a city shield come down without them hitting it, you know? So it's like those style of things you get to know these people, and yeah, it gives you a little bit of a breath sometimes. You probably already get that anyway because you have 80 or so people. Me going into my merge, I was getting like 45, at my best. So the fact that you're in the 80s, 90s type shit is obviously commendable. But I think that it'll just get that much better. It'll be nice. I think you can do. I want to see the 100, bro. I think you
I
can
want,
get 100. I want to see 100 in Polar War in the coming weeks.
I
When
want to
is
see
your
100
chaos land? So,
in 2 hours.
oh no shit. Okay, solid, solid.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I mean, when I sent that participation video, I also kind of noted I'm not first in all of these because if I don't need to be first, I'm not first. And so there's the other C41s that some events where, I didn't need to go hard. I just let them rock. So it's already not a problem, Like those guys can come over and fight the other guys that we already have here. If I can get the 100, that'll be amazing, right? The
Yeah,
100
just
is the
and when
goal.
the day comes when you're needed, you're there and you're ready
Right.
to drop a bag because you got it. You saved it from whatever. Yeah, dude, I like those days. Like I do. I like those days. Like getting a
That's
good
what
polar matchup, and it's like, oh, there's Ronaldo's dumbass, but this is gonna be expensive but fun. You know.
Yeah, man. And the hundred is the first goal. The 100 where I'm not even in the top 3 is the second goal. I just want the team to win.
Cool,
That's
man.
the
I'm
plan.
excited to see that. I'm
Thanks, man.
excited to
So Woody asked me for the blueprint on how to get a merge. Are we doing that here, or should we talk about something else first?
run it, bro. Run it. Yeah, run it.
All right.
So
Let me pull it.
let's start this conversation with when did Vegas stop playing essentially or leave Alliance, and then how long have you been searching for said merger? Right? Like let's just because we all say we need a merger at some time, but a lot of the times it's you just being not you per se, but them, everybody kind of maybe being lazy, or maybe your nation just sucks. We need a merger. We need a merger. But I don't think you were in that position. I think you were in a little bit of a different position. So, anyways, how long were you waiting on? After Mr. Man, and then I know you got some bullet points there to go over, but I think there's a good thing to talk about the time of which you've been kind of hanging around, and how long it took to actually get it once you started really hammering these things away. Because not to use you as an example, but literally the same exact thing happened to me in 425. Took us for us it was about 5.5 months from start of implementation of rules and banning some things, whatever. But it was under 6 months we had our merger. It was a very similar situation that you're in.
I think it's probably tougher for people these days. It was Vegas quit playing about a year ago, I would say. He was kind of on and off, I would say, about a year ago. And he was just fully gone around February of this year. So, but like real spotty play around November of 2024. Um, so yeah, it was tough, man, because we won almost everything when he was around, and then he disappeared, and everybody still wanted to win everything, right? And we weren't. We were losing all the kill events, and I mean, probably everything, right? We were probably losing Elite Wars because we would have been way up there with him, and not able to be way up there without him. And So all of that was hard. And he disappeared, but of course we had to leave him in the alliance, right? And then if you remember back when Wasteland started, so I want to say we're on our third season. I know we're on our third season now, maybe 3 weeks into the third season. I kicked Vegas from the alliance after the very first Wasteland. So that's the timing for that. So let's call it, that would be 8 weeks, 8 weeks. That's 2 months plus 1 week in between, plus 3 now. So I don't know, maybe 5 months ago, I kicked Vegas out of the alliance, all of his cities.
Did you get any flack for that, or he knew?
It was a tough call, right? There's no communication. So we basically got our ass whooped in Wasteland with the first matchup that was brutal. And I just sent him a message and I was like, hey, I'm going to kick you out before the next one. Like, we can't carry your battle power, bro. I don't know where you are. I hope you're enjoying your life, but we can't just carry your ass. So I never got a response. I never heard from him since then. I don't think I've heard from him. People are always like, what happened that pissed him off? I have no idea. The last time he spoke, he was happy and he was like, we're doing good on this or that. And then gone. So must have some life situation. And then,
'Cause
the fun.
I feel, and I asked that not because Vegas was, whatever. It was majority because I thought he was the one that was like, we need a merger, and that was the reason why he kind of stopped playing. That was my understanding, and that's why I kind of brought it up because he was the one that was, from what I remember anyway, it was like, oh, we need a merger, and then it kind of didn't happen. And if that was to say a year or so ago, that was I don't want to say the struggle point, but that's kind of like the in my world, the KPI that says, okay, this is when things started to change.
It's good. You have to bring it up. It's pivotal, right? Because as long as he's around, I think one of the biggest problems for nations right now that aren't getting a merge is that they're still trying to win, but they're they're in this situation where they're like, well, we just have to keep winning or people are going to quit. And then you're like, all right, yeah, that I understand why you would think that you have to keep winning or people are going to quit. But when you don't get a merge because you're not doing what you have to do, those same people are going to quit. So you have to not be weak. You have to do what you have to do and then get your merge anyways. But we were trying to continue to win. We weren't fighting as a team. We were relying too much on Vegas. They were relying on me a little bit, mostly him. We had another C41 around too. And it was literally like, well, let's show up to Elite War and see if we're going to win or lose based on whether or not Vegas logs in, which sucks so much to have your entire alliance.
Yeah, that's horrible.
Like, how do you motivate 96 people to show up just to see if one other dude shows up? It's rough. But when he left, he did say we need more participation, but like nothing makes sense, right? Because he said we need more participation. And we were renaming the alliance at the time, and he's like, "Yeah, just do whatever Holbrook is doing. Like whatever Holbrook wants. Whatever his vote is what my vote is." That's literally like the last thing he said in alliance chat. And so obviously he didn't leave because he was mad at me. He was like, we're trying our best. Whatever Holbrook wants to do, I don't really care. And then he disappeared. But if it was just pure participation, then when the numbers came up, he probably should have come back, and he didn't. And then you think to yourself, like, oh, well, obviously he quit, but he literally bubbled again for this void. They debuffed him and he bubbled. So, like, I don't know, man. It doesn't make any sense, but it has to be the pivotal point of that most people will probably go through. When you lose your whale, you don't get to keep being I don't know what word to use, but a bitch, basically. Like if 736 loses Woody, you can't keep being a bitch. You got to put on the big boy pants and do the things that you don't want to do. I'm not saying that's going to happen. I'm saying it does happen to a bunch of nations. There's a bunch of nations who I'm not going to name that lost their whales, and they've gone downhill since they lost their whales because nobody puts on their big boy pants and does the things that they need to do, or big girl pants. Actually, it's probably better. The big girl pants are better at murdering the little boys. But there's a bunch of shit that you have to do, and it's not complicated, but people don't want to do it. But like, maybe we should address first. I don't believe that spending impacts it. you've all seen my warplane. Do you think I ever stopped spending? But we got our merge. So I just don't believe in that thing that people talk about. I think that's a thing that people like to use to point fingers at spenders, which I think is crazy. Like, those are your people that you're going to need for winning. So I don't think the spending thing is part of it. I do think activity is part of it. We banned farms, I would say 5 months ago, maybe 4 months ago. I think everybody that's running all these farms, like, what are you running them for? If you're running them for RSS that you don't need because everyone's uranium locked, or whatever reason you're telling yourself you're upgrading for head of state, man, how much do you need that head of state win where you need to have these farms because you're costing yourself a merge? Um, Another one that I see that I think is crazy is, I had to do it with the biggest one, Vegas. If somebody's city is dead, you must fucking expel them. I don't care if they're a C41 or a C37. If their city's for sale or Vegas cities are not for sale, if it's dead, you have to fucking get rid of it. You can't sit there and pretend that someday it's going to work out. And even better, when you expel them, then they have to sell, right? So I don't know. Those are two things that I would do for sure. The crazier things are like pick an event and focus on that event. Like, if you're not getting a merge, you might as well be the best at whatever event. It can be whatever event you want. It can be Elite Wars. It can be Head of State. It can be GC. It can be Polar. I don't care. Pick your event that's good for your alliance, and then set the standard and kick people out. So we got bad down to 60 people, 60 people, because people weren't playing. And so we kicked everybody out. And then now I have 40 spots open. We burned the entire third alliance, because the third alliance is, most people around my nation's age know they're never going to really contribute. So you burn the whole alliance, and then you tell 40 of those people to come over to the top alliance, in my case, and 30 of them stayed. And so we turned all of these people that were like good but didn't know what they were doing and not super active into active players in the top alliance. And then did some of them go to the second alliance? Absolutely. But we also had the participation so far up that people came from the second alliance to the top alliance. So we ended up getting that merge, and some people wouldn't call it a super alliance because some of the stats are low, but in a way it is the participation super alliance, because we just set the standard and then we burned the third alliance, and then we brought them over, and we had the space because we kicked out the people. It goes back to just making those hard decisions. Like, we had people on the top alliance that we were keeping around because we pretended they were strong, but they didn't show up to events. I just want to drive it home.
Yeah, that's the worst. If they can't show up, and
They're fucking worthless, bro. If they don't show up, they're fucking worthless.
yep, I'll take a fucking C35 over a C41. That'll show up. Like, I'd much rather have them there than not. So it's definitely a thing, and it's a hard pill to swallow, especially for people that have been playing the game long. You've been around long enough now that you can be in that similar situation to where it's like, all right, we got to shit or get off the pot here. It's like we need to make proper decisions, and it's simple. We don't even have to look at the rep rankings anymore. I mean, we can literally just go right into the battle contribution rankings, and we can see who's not showing up. That is the one spreadsheet that I require on a monthly basis for my R4s. Because I want to know who's showing up and who's not showing up to what events. I
Yeah,
want to know who's doing absolutely nothing.
we were doing that, and we've even simplified it to because we have such good participation. There's only 6-7 names on the list every event, every priority event. And so you can just post 6 to 7 names in one Discord channel, and you just screenshot from the battle contribution page that you're talking about. Screenshot that to a Discord channel. Say, these people were there last time, they're not here this time. Just go ahead and give them a heads up. It's not a warning. It's not like, hey, motherfucker, show up. It's like, hey, just a reminder, if you miss too many of these, then you have to go. And we just do it every time. And the first time people get that mail, they're like, what do you mean? It's my first time. I had a work thing. And then I just reply, like, hey, man, it's totally cool. This is not a warning. We're not threatening you. We're giving instead of waiting until you're in the red zone, we're letting you know now where the red zone is. And then, they don't reply and they show up to the next event and everything's fine. And so we started doing that. And because there's only 6 to 7 names on that list, it's just Tuesday after Polar, post those 6 to 7 names. Friday after Wasteland, post those 6 to 7 names. Is anyone's name on there twice? Okay, let them know if they miss it again, then they're going to be gone. Everybody else who's on there once, just give them another little friendly nudge, and don't mail the whole alliance and be like, what our standards are. Just send the friendly mail instead. And then the people who miss it 3 in a row, it's again like it's just one Discord channel, one screenshot, because it's only 6 or 7 names. Whoever ends up on there 3 times, go find another alliance. Enjoy yourself. It's not a crazy amount of tracking. Like, it's great to have that battle contribution. It's great to have a spreadsheet, but also like I think some people want to blame like this is not a job. And I'm just saying that's not a valid excuse either. It turns out if you get your participation high enough, you can only have 6 people on that list and probably 1 that needs the tough email, and everybody else is good. You know what I mean?
I agree. I agree. I absolutely agree. If someone's got their eyes on it, someone's creating that Discord channel, sending that screenshot, doing that on a weekly basis shortly after the event, however it's done. For us, it's always different. It's not the same 6 people. It always changes for whatever reason, and I think people just fall into ruts. So when I see people miss 2 in a row, I just reach out and ask them what's going on, because usually there's something going on. Whether it be personal, whether it be in game or otherwise. What's going on? Because whatever. And then
Oh, bro.
we can have a heart to heart, blah 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 bullshit. But at the end of that, man, we do so much better when you're there. So I love to make sure that you're there next week, and then I typically don't have a problem for like a handful of months. And I'm a big advocate of. Excuse me, I got a fucking frog in my throat here. I'm a big advocate of showing love. As a leader, you got to reach out. You got to show love to the little guy, to the big guy, to the in between guy. You got to show love. Got to show a little compassion, and yeah, it goes a long way.
That's a big thing I learned from you, man, to be honest. That's maybe the reason that we send it right away when they miss the first priority event, rather than waiting until things are bad. It's just like, hey, man, just letting you know. And then they miss another one, and it's like, hey, just letting you know. And then when they miss the third one, it's not like, hey, man, I need you to get the fuck out of the alliance. It's more like, what's going on, bro? Is there a problem in the alliance? Is there a problem in life? Do you want to sell? Tell me what you want to do, or do you just need somebody to help you with your account? Like, there's surely an answer here. And it used to be much more hardcore early on, of just like, don't bother people until they're already getting expelled, and then just send them a message and be like, hey man, you got to get out for 7 days. And you recommended just reach out instead and see what's going on. And it's a more compassionate way to do it, but it's also better for you because they're more likely to if they have a problem. Like, I reached out to one guy and he was like, man, my daughter's having surgery or something, and I just need money. And I was like, okay, well, I'll buy your city. And he was like, I need this much money. And it was like an extra 500 over what the city was worth or whatever. Maybe he was lying to me. I don't give a fuck. But I was like, if his daughter's really having surgery and he just needs an extra 500 on top of what his city's worth, I feel like that's a good investment. So I got a good city and I feel good about myself helping his daughter get his surgery or whatever. And everybody won. And if I hadn't gotten that advice from you, LG, of just reach out and see what's up, I might have just sent him a message and been like, you're expelled, motherfucker, which would have been way worse for all of us, right?
Yeah, I mean, like at the end of the day, you get. I don't know. I've always gotten a lot further in life by not being an asshole. You know, and whatever. Let's just take it for. No, don't get me wrong. I can be an asshole. However, try not to start there. We can get there if it gets there, but try not to start there, especially if it's in your nation. Like, yeah, you got to live with those people. You kind of married to them, like you suggested earlier. You got to deal with it. So, but yeah, I'm a big advocate of shoot them a quick message. You never know what's going on in somebody's life, and yeah, whatever. Even if you're just sitting there, whatever, shooting the shit, kicking the bobo for a handful of minutes, goes a long way sometimes.
For sure. And if
Especially if
that
you're
guy,
like the R5 or like the whale, or the whatever, people look up to you, blah 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 type shit. I know you're in a similar position in your nation, so when somebody logs into their city and they see a message from you, I think that it carries weight.
yeah, so you're absolutely right about all of that, and I learned it's much easier to just be nice early, and it's a little awkward always to be like, "What's going on, bro? I need you in events." But if you're nice about it, it turns out to be super easy. And then by the time it gets to, yeah, so I'm going to need you to go ahead and move to the other alliance. Like if they don't have a good excuse, they also never complain. Like I actually had someone say like, "Oh yeah, sorry, I've been." I had,
100%.
I had someone say, "Oh yeah, I've been busy with work," and I was like, "Okay," and they were like, "Yeah, no, I'm gonna go over, but I'll be back in like a month," and I was like, "Okay, well, you'll have a spot when you want to come back." And they were like, "Hey, by the way, did you see I went C36?" And I was like, "Yeah, I did, and I would love to have you back in the alliance whenever you can play that C36 again." Like they weren't even angry; they were actually like excited about their city growth while also not being able to play events. And to this day, me and that player still have whatever. Everything's cool between us, instead of some like angry alliance drama or whatever. It's just easier to reach out to people.
So I'll give you what happened just the other day. So this guy's he's been in 425 forever. This just happened this void, yesterday, I guess you'd call it. Long story short is his shield wasn't there. He's not in our alliance. He used to be a GFK member. Same exact thing you're talking about. Wasn't able to participate. Wasn't able to keep it going. Had some shit going on, work, family, whatever. Hey, I'm gonna go over to this alliance. No issues, right? Same exact thing you just said. Well, anywho, Void's coming, and he's got like a 40 million BP city, decent C37, something along those lines. But it's fat, it's got some troops in it. No shield, 30 minutes before Void. So, and he's not in my alliance. He's not in the top 3 alliance, which are all protected, And again, I'm not a fan of just randomly killing people, but when there's rules and things like that, like I can't stop others from killing him. So I knew he would die. That's it. Maybe I wouldn't have done it, but I knew he would die. So anywho, I messaged him on Discord. He's still on my Discord server, and I reached out to him in game. And within about 15 minutes or so, his shield came on, and then I proceed to get a very long message, on Discord, and it's just basically saying, the things that you're talking about. Hey man, I always appreciate you reaching out, on both sides. Like I definitely forgot, I just moved, blah blah blah. My daughter's having something going on, or no, he's having a kid, or something along those lines. And him and I were just whatever. We kicked it for like 20 minutes on Discord, just catching up because he's been out of the alliance now for probably over a year, But anywho, we kicked it on Discord for like 20, 30 minutes, man. So he's got a bunch of shit going on in life. Cool, man. But hey, I need you every 2 weeks, bro. Like, say, hey, Siri to your phone right now and tell it that you need to, every 2 weeks fucking set a shield. Like, I need you to do that for me. And he's like, done, and that's all I needed. So, anywho, I just felt like it was a perfect time, I won't share the Discord messages because they were very nice, and they were, whatever, accommodating to me, if you would. And, it was nice to get that, back and forth, with another player because it was the exact same thing we're talking about.
Yep, I had another one. Not to drive this home too crazy, but I literally had a guy who didn't log in for a week, and then I was going to dinner on Friday night, and I got a message, and it was like, "My grandmother died. I've been trying to organize a bunch of stuff. Sorry, life is crazy." And it's like, man, thank God I wasn't savage with this guy. How shitty would I feel if
Yeah,
I
dude.
was? Yeah,
Yes.
you know what I'm saying.
Yeah,
But
I know it. I know it, man. Good job,
but
brother.
the flip side of that is for people that want their merge. This goes back to what you started with early on. What is an academy? If you haven't gotten your second merge, an academy is trash. Let's be fucking real. Those people are never going to actually play the game. Their stats are not good. They're not active. So people want to keep asking what 785 did about other alliances, and they don't believe the answer because it's so simple, but it's true. The top alliance had protection, the second alliance had protection. Every other alliance in the entire nation was marked red, and if anybody was gathering or had a hall, even, they were marked red, and we killed them. No T4s, no academies, no farms, just everything that's not in the top two alliances marked as enemy, marked red, kill them all. So still it's something that I think people won't do if we're honest. But
And it's
those of
funny,
you
and it's funny that we're doing this like in tandem because it's literally what we did too. We had a third alliance though. We did. We had a third alliance going into merge. Whether that just be we had a couple more people or not, I'm not necessarily sure. But we had enough people to fill them that were actually moving. But yeah, if you weren't in those alliances, you're dead. You know, and the moment we turned and came into that second merger, based off of city levels and stuff like that, we put city level caps on them. Because if you weren't growing, if you weren't doing this, that, or a third, like you're not playing the game. So you just got to kind of be food, And if you want to gather every so often and log in and play Medici and things like that, you can do that. Obviously we can't stop anybody from logging into their city, but the moment we see your shield down or your troops healed, we're going to put them back in the hospital, and we're going to take those couple of resources that you gathered, and you can log in a month from now and do it all over again. And that's and eventually they'll just delete the app, or whatever the case is. And because what that is those are the people who downloaded the game to just see what it is. They hung around for like 3 or 4 weeks, or like maybe 3 months, and then whatever, something else came up, or another game, came, whatever, their ADHD took over, who knows? But they're no longer actually actively playing, this version of the game that we all like to play. So I think it's a great opportunity during that second merge to, really put a cap on what's coming in, and what can, whatever, be available. Because a lot of those other cities, those are just second cities. And that's something that you don't want to allow a lot of growth of, like, oh, we want those cities to grow over time, blah, blah, blah. I mean, we all know people are going to lie and all that dumb shit, but, the sub accounts are wastes of everybody's time, especially if it's somebody who can spend a couple of dollars, because they're going to spend a couple of dollars on that other city too, which is an absolute waste. I'll just say
I,
that.
I would I would say it's a waste monetarily, and it's a social waste too. I call it just an all around social and monetary tax, because anybody who's in a farm alliance talking to the other farmers about their farm cities should be, I mean, this is one of your big things. Your big thing is AC should be moving. And so if somebody's in their farm alliance and your AC is dead and it's just ruins, but they're over in the farm alliance because they're fucking around upgrading stuff on their farms, they're not in your alliance chat where they should be talking.
You're
It's literally a
100%.
social tax.
Yeah. Yeah, they're over there by themselves. And a majority, and what happens is, and I think I said this the last podcast, a lot of those people that are building the second cities are the free players, and they do it because their fleets are gathering gold, in their main city, and they want to play the game, right? And what I don't necessarily suggest this, but some of the people that are that hyperactive, that just don't have the money, I tend to allow those people to be managers of other cities. Maybe some people that aren't the most hyperactive, but they are online at certain times, blah, blah, blah. So they'll kind of tandem, play that other city to not be in, I just hate the building of second cities, because I have an alliance in 425. It's called DOA, and it's second cities. That's what it is. It's fucking second cities. I've killed enough of them over the years, because the moment they lose a shield or otherwise they're dead and they're not allowed back in that alliance, whatever, they're hunted forever. But those second cities, I've kind of morphed them down into, now they all have like one fleet. You know, they all blah blah blah. They really don't grow anymore because I've talked so much shit about them. You know, like again, I'm that leader that pokes and prods at you and like makes you feel uncomfortable by like making fun of you a little bit. It's like, what are you doing with that fucking C34, bro, with 30 million BP? Like, what are you doing? You know, like what kind of like are you really playing Medici twice? Like, I don't even play it anymore, you know, personally, but like, are you really playing it twice? Do you like it that much that you play it twice? You know, and if that's what it is, cool, I guess. But man, just stop growing them, please, for the love of God. Stop growing these second cities, guys, and you know, and come up with something better, you know, than that. I don't know,
But
maybe the
that's the
voice chat on Discord or something, you know, to keep people occupied is a good idea. Because I do like if I place myself in the position of a fleet player that is looking at 5 fleets of, you know, gathering gold, you know, essentially 80% of their gameplay, you know, it gets a little boring or it gets difficult to stay engaged.
this
You
is
know,
the this is the reason why what I'm suggesting works. So we built like a surveillance network across the map, which sounds it's not that complicated. We can come back to that. But once you have people spotting everybody else gathering, then it gives them something to do. Rather than them needing to go to their farm to do whatever they need to do, instead they're looking for these red dots gathering and they're just murdering all of these quote unquote rebels, farmers, whatever, and by just marking them enemy and then making them red, you just have these people that are hyperactive that have no money and they're just looking around the map for this dot. Where's the red dot? Where's the red dot? Even if they're gathering gold, they're not even killing the troops necessarily. They're gathering gold. They just go find the red dot. They share it to Alliance chat. Then all I have to do is log on and look at what's shared, click on it, see if there's a red dot still there, send my fleet, thank them, and then they're like, "Oh, I did my part. Thank you." No, thank you. Okay, and then I share the report. You know, it's not like I care that I killed somebody's gather fleet, but they found it. I killed it. We worked together, and then you know what they do? They go right back to finding something else to kill. So like, it's way better than just letting them waste their time on all of these farms that are just going to grow for no reason and never do anything. And so we're about to bring farm rules back because 667 wants farms, and I just don't really care that much. And some players were like,
Yeah, I mean,
"Oh,
you're supposed to have farms after the second merge, right? There's no reason not to have farms, you know, after, you know, they have to be T4, they have to be non-zombie defending, they have to have some rules behind them, but like, yeah, there's no reason not to have T4 for the green grind, you know, like when they, you know, when they do finally get the green shit and they don't have any fucking resources, yeah, that's a crappy place to be in. And I know men in general don't like to ask for things, women probably even more so when they don't know anybody. So like people are have trepidation on asking for resources, especially when they don't get responses like immediately. There was a recent message in GFK, guys like, oh, I need X amount of shit. And nobody responded to the poor bastard. You know, and it was
we
like, oh
don't."
man, you know, and it's like I saw it and it's like, yo, dude, like go over here. There's all that and some, you know, and it was no big deal, but I just, you know, whatever. So like there's gotta be ways to keep these, you know, guys' minds going in the right direction. You know, whatever that is, you know, it is. You know, keep
But
pushing in
the
that
but
direction.
the, but the before your merge, I'm telling you, everybody converted from I got to be on my farm to, oh, where's the gather fleet? Somebody find a gather fleet. Where's the gather fleet? Just killing every single
Well,
gather fleet on the
you should
map.
still have red is dead. You know what I'm
Oh,
saying?
for
Like
sure.
that should still be a thing. That shouldn't, you know, go away. So red is dead should still be a thing, but you know, you should have a very, you know, whatever. I would kind of attempt to control that a little bit. At least make them stay in hive. Don't allow farms random all off the map. Make the farms walk 9 hours. The farms have to stay in hive. That is a big rule, bro. Like, let me just throw that out there and never land. Just to make yourself and your purge teams and all those things not have to search map. Make all farms stay in hive.
Yeah, so we'll have some of those back, and that'll be fine. But we're still gonna have plenty of red dots on the map. I mean, there's always rebels.
Shit. See, even Kitten believes in me. You know, over here in the chat. Like, yeah, got to have our farms. They're cool. They're in hive, and if they're not cleaned every 2 weeks, then we clean them for them. And it's a nice little Friday night get together in GFK. We scan everyone's shit and we take everyone's scraps and call it a day. You know.
For sure. I said surveillance net earlier. Sounds complicated. It's not. Everybody just goes every whatever 100 coordinates or whatever. Basically, just means spread out through the map to where there's one of your cities everywhere throughout the whole map. And of course, anybody who loves their hive is going to be super upset about this. But do you love your hive more than you love a merge? I mean, this is not for Lead God. This is not for 621. This is for people who want a merge. Your hive is not important, not more important than your merge. Spread your cities throughout the map and kill everything that's gathering. So this is a way for everybody to keep sharing the red dots. And then it doesn't matter if you're 20 minutes away. Somebody doesn't have to teleport. They have their cities wherever. They're gathering gold because they're a free player. You're 20 minutes away. They just scan around their area. It's just a little square on the map. That's all they're responsible for, because your hive is gone and everybody is just everywhere throughout the map, making sure nobody's gathering anywhere. And then whoever hops online can just send a fleet. These farmers have such trash stats and they're not online anyways. It doesn't matter if the walk is 20 minutes or 40 minutes or
Yeah,
whatever it
you just
is.
set it and forget it, dude.
Yeah.
And you might even come back with some gold fucking around. If you just
Yeah.
spent it and you got to go do something, come back, you got 75 gold.
And if your record is good in head of state, then this is bad advice for you and ignore it. I don't care. But if you're trying to get your merge and you're not playing events where having a hive matters, like imagine if the events that you're playing are Polar and Elite War. What does your hive matter? Just spread out through the map and kill off all of these active farmers, these casual
I mean, you
players.
guys, you guys all cry about how the Chinese get so many mergers. You know how they get mergers is because there's two whales and they kill the rest of the nation in like 2 weeks. So they get a merger in like month two. You know, that's what happened in a majority of our Chinese nations anyway. It's like every time they kept burning and turning, but the merger that they got, if you looked at them, there was like 8 cities there. It's like it's not going to be too crazy. Well, maybe 555 was a different one, but you know what I'm saying. It's they're out there just killing them, man, and so if you're looking for a merger, you have to make the ones that are on the fence choose a side, and sometimes it just takes a little bit of pressure, especially that fat fucking farmer that's got 40 million BP and spent every dollar that he put into the game on recruit packs. And what are you gonna do then? Like, you kill that guy, he's quitting the game, and that's just it, you know.
There was a there was a farmer in 785 who's been shielded for 4 years. He had 10 million troops, and they're all trash. His stats are trash. And man, you know how much we celebrated that day when that shield dropped, and somebody
Dude,
on the
it's the
surveillance
best day
network caught it.
ever, bro.
It's so funny.
Best day ever, bro. Especially when so we had rules on our shitty fourth alliance, right? Whatever it was. And long story short is one of their fat boys dropped their shield randomly in a void. And again, their rules are they're not allowed to, attack one player at a time. They have to attack with a minimum of 10 people. Okay, so they have, 80 people in the alliance, but you have to attack with a minimum of 10 people. Anywho, they had this big fat dude drop a shield, and they're not allowed to defend at all. Like, they're not allowed to defend, period. And like 6 of these fuckers, I watched it happen. 6 of these fuckers are defending this fat fucker, and I lost it. So we didn't say nothing. We won the void, whatever. It was a void war. We won the void. The moment reset came, man, we lit those fuckers up, dude. We lit those fuckers up. And that was it. It was over. and everybody who did have fat cities no longer had fat cities, and we never heard about it. I reached out to their leader, and just said, "Hey, listen, you guys knew the rules. Stupid. We could have dealt with homeboy that dropped his shield, but your fucking whole team defended him. Like, what are you doing? Can't happen. You guys are donezo." So
For sure.
there's a handful of little things where these quote because I guess you could call them academy, but they're never going to move. They're just they're like passer buyers. They log into the game every 3 days. They farm some shit. They do a Medici. They all get together and like 8 of them play Zombie Uprise. Like that's what they do. That's what they're doing. You know.
So so this all ties together, man. Thank you. You're literally giving me the transition easy. So the surveillance network lets you find all the halls. So after you murder somebody and you destroy their hall eventually, they're just going to go rebuild it somewhere else. And if you don't have the surveillance network, then you're not going to find it right away, and they're going to do whatever, and they're running zombies. And I can post it to the chat. You can just go look at the alliance rankings in zombies, and whoever is doing zombies that doesn't have protection is your number one target. Like I'll post it in the chat right now. There's 2 alliances that have run zombies in 785 for as long as I can remember. Just 2, not 10, not fucking 5, just 2 alliances. And anybody can just check the rankings. There you go. It's in chat now. Anybody can just go check the rankings. And any alliance that's running zombies, go find the fucking hall, burn it down. That's it.
Yep. And it's a great way to create activity, and it brings back the old days, right? Like first 4 months in the game, you got burn parties. Hey, we're gonna go over to this fucking crazy ranch over here in the corner. We're gonna fuck these guys up, and then 3 weeks later it's some other random place. So it like brings back that old nostalgia for the game that was fun, time attack, stupid stuff like that, where you don't typically do anymore. And yeah, I 1,000% agree, man. I personally enjoy flag burning. I don't know if it's I have ADHD or what, but I enjoy flag burning. I enjoy parking my ass in a specific place and saying, "All right, motherfucker, who's gonna win this? Because you got alliance points and I got time, and what are you gonna do?" And I've never lost. Fucking knock on wood, I haven't lost yet.
And if they fight, then you bring some more people. And if they keep fight, and I don't mean fight in the flags, they're not doing that. I'm talking about fight by like healing or whatever. And then if they, sorry, healing the flag. And if they keep doing it, but sometimes they let them drop, then eventually it gets to the fun part where you surround them with another alliance and you just keep playing this game. And
Yeah, I enjoy that game, honestly, I do.
and if you get upset about it, then, stop, because people actually have a lot of fun. And like we have people in 785 that are literally excited to surround your rebel alliance with another alliance and flags and make you move your alliance again. You can heal that hall all you want, but you're not doing zombies anymore because you're not getting any more flags.
Have you had the guy who puts all the flags inside the alliance square?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, we'd still have this one alliance that does it, and oh my God, their messages. We're just a small Christian group that wants to play together. It's like, bro, it has nothing to do with religion. I don't even hate you. I have nothing against you. You just don't understand the game, and people want to burn you. So I don't know. You, whatever. Enjoy it, or we'll enjoy it, or everyone will enjoy it, but nobody should be stressed. But it gives people something to do, and if you can kill them, then your activity goes down, and that'll get your merge. And if you can't, well, it keeps your active players active, so your alliance wins either way. Very,
Yeah.
very similar.
And when you get a couple of those guys, I mean, obviously, you kill a couple around the way, but sometimes those cities do get passed along to people, who are active and maybe didn't have money and get a little bit of an upgrade. Definitely happened in us with 425 over the years, and there's a couple of city losses, obviously, through the process, but I feel like a majority of those cities got passed along to the next one because our troll version, they were a majority were Japanese players, and again are very loyal to each other for the most part. So when they were to organically leave or kind of get burned out, the city would 98% get passed along to the next guy, whoever that was. So win-win for us at the end of the day. But yeah, man, like listening to all this, I feel like it's a very, very similar setup to what 425 503 had and what you guys are kind of putting together over there. It's like, dude, we got the leaders, we got this, we got that. But I mean, just kind of absorb them into you and fucking run it, you know? And I think you guys are gonna do pretty good with it.
It doesn't sound similar by accident. I like to call it standing on the shoulders of giants, which is also not my phrase. I just stole that too. You got to learn from people in front of you, man. So I tried to learn from all of you guys. I took all these ideas from all of you guys. People are in my DMs. You know, you can do the zombie thing. Another trick that you can do is look at the elite ghoul, that thing that you attack every single day, twice, and you can see again. Look at the rankings. Look at the rest of the nation. Whatever alliance is attacking that ghoul, anyone that has points, they're active. They need to die. When you go kill them, you move closer to your merge. When you let them continue to attack that ghoul and live, you stay farther away from that merge. And so you can do like those are your targets. And then you can also do a general sweep of how many people are active in my nation. I don't want to talk shit about any nation specifically, but somebody that thought they were going to get a merge is running Mother of Doom and Doom's Iron Fist. And all you have to do is get a farm or use your main or whatever, send one troop. And whatever your ranking is, that's how many people are doing it. So this nation was all excited. They're talking to another nation about how they're going to get merged and we're going to talk to Camel and you guys talk to Camel. They had over 400 players running Mother of Doom and over 400 players doing Iron Fist. And they think they're going to get merged around the 700s. And
Dude, they're smoking
785.
so much crack, dude.
Right. 785 for your benchmark, we got merged. 785 for your benchmark, 200. So you got 200 players that are not real players that you need to kill off. And it's not hard, right? Literally just send a troop, see a number, track it every week. This is not calculus.
Well, and you know, back circling back to the original, some of the original points is, I don't know, probably 60% of that 200 that you're referring to is people's farms and people's second cities that are active players in your alliance now that need to be told to fucking stop. You know,
For sure. So the last thing that I posted as far as getting a merge, I put our troop limits in there. I would say they're kind of high. I was trying to be friendly to 785. If you aggressively want to merge, you should do. I put it in the chat. You should do lower numbers. If you want to be friendly, then whatever. But you know, I don't know how long it'll take for you to get your merge. But you have to do all of these things. You can't just do a couple of these things. And then the last thing I have to say about merges is people that say you have to. I started by saying blaming spending is stupid. Blaming winning is stupid too. We're 13th in polar. That's not fucking terrible. We're 19-1 in Wasteland with a 19 win streak ever since I kicked Vegas out. That's not terrible. We've won plenty of events. We also win like every fucking head of state where we face a lock nation. But I don't even care about that. We're not losing to get a merger, and nobody else has to lose to get a merger also. What you have to do is kill the casuals, get the activity down, get the number of players in the nation only down to the active, and get the battle power down. That's where the troop limits come into play. And that's why I'm saying people might even want to have less troop limits if we're honest.
yeah,
That-
you were super nice, like you predicated, brother. And your true limits that you shared them in chat in the our little Discord chat, however long ago. I kind of chuckled at them at first glance. So yeah, I would, you know, for guys like yourself, you put yourself in a position that you know you're a little more friendly. I think that it's all dependent upon you know what your realm of things is. But for me personally, I mean, I had guys tell excuse me, I had guys telling me to stop spending. Bro, I'm a max player. I don't think I've stopped spending in some time, especially on certain things. It's like I'm not. That's not the way I play the game, you know. And I wasn't prepared to do that. Very similar to yourself, you know, like so it definitely wasn't a thing. I think that the biggest part of it was the farms and the people logging into the cities. I think if I want to put my techie hat on, and think if I'm the guy looking at the spreadsheet or whatever, it's easy for me to use the subscriber numbers, if you would, whatever they call themselves, to inflate other things to get money and whatever. So, like, at the end of the day, Camel loves to see 400 active members in a fucking shit nation with 200 people in it. Like, they love to see those style of things because it's inflated for only one purpose to them is financial reasons, but they like those things. So they have no issue against it. The moment you start, if you're a spending player, stop spending. What happens? Camel's going to reach out to you and ask if everything's okay, right? I'm sure plenty of people have had that text message or whatever, line message, Discord message from your VIP guy if you stop spending for a little while. Hey, is everything okay? It's bullshit. So if you can just literally shut off the quote subscriber numbers in your nation, I feel like that's the biggest thing for them to say, okay, we have to change this. Because if there's a spreadsheet, right? Think of Camel, and it shows all these nation numbers and it shows all these active participants. If you're the fucking red flag on that spreadsheet, when everyone has 200, everybody has 400, 600, whatever, and you got 150, 200, that's the red flag for the quote developers. You know how the fucking VIP always says, well, we got to talk to the developers. We're going to pass that stupid fucking thing along that you said to the developers, right? Because that's what the fuck they're looking at. So if you can finagle or if you can, I guess, dictate in your nation to shut off 200 of those members. You're not saying kill them. You're not saying fucking disband your babies that you work so hard on to get good Medici scores on. No one's saying that. We're just saying don't log into those fucking things until we get merged. That's what we're saying. You want a merger, right? Great. The first day we get merged, that we tell you that we got the merger notification, that's the day you get to fire them puppies right back up, buddy. All right? But until then, for the love of fucking God, stop. Because each one of those farmers got 6 or 7 of them bastards. It's not one farm. One
Yep,
person's got 6 or 7 others. So yeah, no, you'd hear what I'm saying.
that's exactly where we are. And people are already in my DMs. Hey man, can we get back in the farms? And I mean, we're not quite aggressive as the first day we got the notice, but I'm literally like, just let the other nation agree with us on farm rules, and then we're good. And we already did. It took so we got the notice on. I got the notice on the morning of Thursday, and by Friday evening we had already agreed on farm rules. And right now, I can already tell you our new farm rules. And it's exactly what you said. T4, 600,000 troops. Maybe it's too many. I don't care.
I mean,
No
sure. If you
zombies.
want to be one of those farmers that build up a fucking an 80 million BP T4 city, I don't give a fuck. A guy like me is gonna come around and kill that motherfucker though, one day,
And
and you're
no,
gonna have to do it all over again. But if you want to build some T4 till you're blue in the face, you shouldn't care, right? Like in my opinion, you shouldn't care. You know?
like you said, no zombies. And that's what, and actually
Yeah.
667 didn't have that rule. And 785 was like, okay, we're cool with everything, but what about this zombie thing? And I went back to 667 and they were like, yep, we're cool with that too. So like everybody's reasonable if you're actually building a
If you're
logical
you can't
strategy.
exactly. You can't just say it to be an asshole and like a dictator horse bucket. You can't do that. You gotta give them the information that's supporting, right? It's like this is why, you know? And we don't care if you have this, but the if you have a 20 million BP farm, right? Because they're out there. I have a couple of them in my hive. Go check them out. But if I scout them, there's no resources in those things, you know? There's no resources. So if you want to come kill some T4, great. You're going to come kill some T4. We're going to get some free points, do your thing. But I don't like getting farmed, man. I don't know if that's my ego or what. I don't like people coming into my nation taking any of our shit. So you better clean your farms, or we're going to clean them for you. and they got to be in hive because I'm not trying to walk 3 minutes to Never Land to kill your farm that you didn't tend to. And that's it. As long as you tend that motherfucker, I don't care if you get. I had this guy Sonny, man. I had this guy Sonny. He was my farmer growing up, and the guy who gave me all my resources. I threw him some cash every now and then. But Sonny had the entire had an entire side of Watson. It was all his. He had 45 cities, all his. He had a whole
Amazing.
fucking square, bro. But every 2 weeks, dude, there was not a fucking ounce of wheat in any one of those fucking cities, and every one of them was loaded with 400 T4s with no zombies. Every one of them. There was like a little. He had his own little process, whatever. But that guy could put together a package like nobody's business. But he was methodical about it. But anywho, I won't talk too much about that dumb shit. But I didn't care because he tended them, you know. But the moment he didn't tend them anymore, and he disappeared off the map because it's exactly what happened. We ate it, That was it. It took one time. We got to eat it. And the good news is about things like that is kind of like you said a little bit earlier, when it happens, because it will, somebody will forget to clean it. Nobody's going to bitch about it. Because the worst thing ever is fighting over farms. If we're fighting over farms, bro, like we have like a real problem, you know? So as long as we're not fighting over farms, then we're cool, But if I'm trying to get a merger and you need a merger, you know, not like 425 right now, like, oh, we need a merger. No, we don't, But if you actually need a merger, man, listen to what Holbrook's saying, because I did the exact fucking same shit. Happened to us. It took us about 5-6 months. Sounds like it took you about the same, when it was all said and done with the dismissal of Mr. Vegas there. And you went through such a similar process, and it sounds like you're almost even getting a very similar merge. So all those things sound like very matter of fact, and I would take the suggestions if you're one of those nations out there that actually need a merger, man. Like shutting down the farms is the number one key, in my opinion. Obviously killing the fence hanger honors, but those farms, man, those multipliers, because that's all it is. It's one person that actually plays the game, but they it looks like 7 to 15 of them, to Camel, and that's a problem. That's a really really big problem in the tech world, And if you can fuck with that number, you're going to jump off the page. And then it's going to force them to look at it because they have to send this same spreadsheet to their investors. Investors are going to say, why has this nation only got 200 people when every other nation's got 400 people? What's going on? And then boom, you got a merger. Isn't that shit funny?
Bro, let's talk bottom line. We got our nation down to 6 billion, maybe 6.1. I don't remember. At one point, it was 5.7 because of the aggressive cleaning. So that's the number that people around my nation's age need to be looking at. And there's some people that are pretty far from that, and I feel bad for them. I like to use my favorite phrase from Letterkenny: "Give your balls a tug." Tell these people, these casuals, they got to go, and don't worry, they won't listen. And then give everybody something to do. Go burn all of them. Burn all the farms. We went so far as to disband all of the farm alliances. We still own those farm alliances, but we asked everyone to kick every single farm out of every single farm protected alliance, and they did. Every single farm alliance kicked every single protected farm out, and we moved the nation battle power down to 5.7 at the lowest. I want to say 6.1 when we merged, and I haven't looked at other people's merges, so I'm not here to talk about anybody else's nation. But a lot of people are telling me we got one of the better merges, and like I said, I'm thrilled with our merge. We'll see how it goes. I think it's a good match. If people want to, actually, that's another topic we could talk about. Everybody asking Camel for a merge, like, you're out of your minds. All of you, I'm sorry, no disrespect, you're out of your minds. You have no idea how many whales messaged me and said, hey, we would love to merge with you. Of course you would. We have amazing participation. So I would love to merge with you too. You think I wouldn't love to merge with 896? You think I wouldn't love to merge with, I mean, fucking obviously 425, 621, 567. Oh, you think I wouldn't love to merge with all of you guys? But I would love a 904. Give me a 910. Give me a 908. These are amazing nations. Camel asked me what I wanted. I gave him a list of 7. You know what they gave me? None of those 7. So all of you, your nations aren't ready for a merge. If you're around my nation number and you're not doing the things I'm talking
Yeah,
about, you're
the day
already
of
not ready
asking
for a
for a
merge.
merge is so over. I think like one or two super
Yes,
whales got it throughout the years, and that's so over. They're too big
it's
for that.
over. It's
That
over.
that one-to-one communication is so over. They don't give a rat's fuck because there's a new whale in 1400 that's going to replace you next week. So like at the yeah, that's so over. And I agree because I did the same exact thing. I got, oh, who do you want to merge with? You know, but that, I feel like that's just a reciprocal question when you say that, just so they can change the topic. Um, whatever. From a sales perspective, it sounds like that's what they're doing. But yeah, it never comes to fruition. I think that the only one that I really ever heard that came to fruition, and again, like this is going back to when they were a little bit more customer service savvy, is like using like Barry, like Barry and 384 maybe, I think was the nation that they merged with. I forget. But whoever they merged with, it was like he wanted to merge with those guys, and that was a good, pairing for them, and he essentially got what he was looking for. But I think he was maybe given a list to choose from. I don't remember, but anywho, like, and even I think there's like some one or two nations that actually declined mergers along the way. Like, oh, you're merging with so and so, and they got declined by the whales of said nation, right? I don't know
But
the nations.
that's over. That's
Yeah,
over.
that's over. It's so over, guys. That shit. That it's over. That's over. That's not happening.
I can speak to that because it happened to me. I requested 796. Every whale in 785 requested 796. Every whale in 796 requested 785. We were ready to roll. Vegas requested 777, and Jimmy, RIP, requested. Sorry, he was given notice that Vegas wanted to merge with him, and he said, "Nah, I'm good. I don't want Vegas." And so they reshuffled everything, and Vegas said, "I'll take 785." So literally every whale in 785 said 796. Every whale in 796 said 785. As far, whatever, people might be liars, but as far as I'm told. But I know for sure Vegas said 785, and then boom, Vegas got 785. That used to happen. There's no question about it. But it's not happening anymore. Those days are over. I got notice. This is already a rumor. I can definitely confirm. I got notice 1 hour before the official mail. I got notice from Camel. Hey, there's a merge coming for your nation. It's unfinalized. And then 1 hour later, welcome to 667. There was no like you're gonna get 667. How do you feel about it? There's no declining merges anymore. There's no requesting merges anymore. And why I'm giving this advice is because if your nation's great, you're not getting another great nation. You're going to get a shit nation. So you better start killing your casuals so you look like an average nation so you can pray that you merge with an average nation. And when anybody says 785 got a good merge, my response is like, yeah. And it wasn't by accident. We worked fucking hard. We did every single thing. Somebody asked me if what I'm giving is ideas or if I'm giving an experience report. We did everything that I'm telling you. Everything. The surveillance net, the murdering everything. I've already posted the screenshots about the zombies. You want a reasonable merge? You got to do every fucking thing and more. Troop limits, like you laughed at, League God, you're right. They should be more aggressive because the lower your BP is, the better merge you're gonna get. Sorry, I'm a little
Yeah, I mean
passionate about it.
the BP limits, and we can talk about it for a second. Like, obviously, you don't want to restrict, people from growing. The BP with officers, titans, all the stuff that you can't be taken away from you. What I always wanted to restrict was the troop building, and I was damn. I was specific when I was whatever going through this process with my team. It's just like, listen, this is what we're focusing on, and I don't want you the little bit of money that you are spending on the game. I don't want you buying recruit packs. I know you're going to get some, maybe if you're buying, this weekly or that, whatever, but like save that for a Void Sunday. Don't, don't, go crazy and for your power, you know, this is where you want to be your limit at, and I would always make it about 20 or 30%, more where they, already were. And mind you, I had a majority of free players at this time. um, not a majority, whatever. Yeah, I had a majority of free players at this time. So it was easy for me as a leader to just kind of watch it. It's like a majority of my guys were like, I don't know, call it 25 million BP, right? It's like that was about the number that they were, during that merge time. So I told them that, 32 was their max, and that was essentially another fleet and a half of troops for them, above and beyond what they already had. I know they were getting by with what they already had because I fought with them, so they didn't have much of an argument. And I always told them to save for a new troop tier, unless we had a void that we were really pushing for. But I always focus people on, hey, listen, you want to have a couple of fleets, obviously, for fighting and whatever, but man, save all those recruits for the new troop tier, so when you do pop that C-37, in a handful of months, you're going to be able to really get some shredders. You're going to be able to really get some rockets, or whatever the next thing for them was. So, if you talk to your team, you can plan it a lot better and keep them away from doing things that, that essentially are going to hurt you otherwise. So yeah, the BP limits are like a thing because people won't pay attention and they're just looking at the BP rankings and the world rankings thing and they want to grow up that. That's just the natural thing is people want to go up that ranking ladder. So you just kind of want to hold them back and listen, focus those things on the officers and this and the that. And so yeah, I went a little higher and I did the 30%ish or so above what they were. I think the 32 was the limit on like the 25-ish guys, but I really didn't want to put limits on like my own team. I didn't want to do that, and I didn't want to restrict a mid spender from growing in any capacity. I didn't want to do that. So I think yours were a little aggressive just because they could have been a little fatter. I think maybe held a couple of guys back, maybe, who knows? But like at the end of the day, like, everyone's got an ask for a seat. Like you said, up in your area, it's about the realm. Like you have a better gauge. I'm not from your realm of things. But I feel like when I got my second merger, I was closer to like 8 billion BP, if I remember correctly. But I could be completely wrong. I don't remember. But I do know I had a whole extra alliance than you did. So it sounds about right,
I mean, my
Guys,
team, I'm lucky.
I-
I had a vision, and I listened to all you guys that are smarter than me, so that makes it easier.
And I didn't even
And I-
think, just to
Corporate.
hold on before you go there. I didn't even think the kicking the people out of the farms. That's such a great idea, dude. Kicking people out of the farm alliances, excuse me, that you already have manager of R5 of. I didn't even think about that until you just said that. So fucking add that to the list, ladies and gentlemen. Because your nation BP is top 10, alliance, right? That's what it is. So if you
Guys,
kick everybody out,
let me interrupt
great.
for a bit. Just a small second before Cowboy has to leave. We have the Patreon raffle to do, if you guys don't mind.
Of course,
No,
go.
absolutely, man. Jump in, man. Raise your hand. Talk.
Cowboy, you wanna?
All right, you want to pull it up?
Yep, it's on
All right,
screen.
so this Woody's asking me who he has to send it to, so and I think he's on break. So this is that first one. I'll post it on here so people can see what is getting raffled. So this one is for his $1 Patreon supporters. They are going to get a $50 in AOZ coins. So go ahead and click it and see who wins.
Let's go. Oh. Let's go. We got action. Wow, you just made my spidey gambling senses go off.
In case that, spin it one more time, just in case we have a first and a secondary, in case that person doesn't want it.
Okay.
Okay, cool. So I'm gonna give people like 24 hours to message back. And fucking. All right, cool. I wrote it down.
Right. That's the second one.
The big one.
The big one, yeah. This is the one I was talking to Woody about the other day. This is what's up. There's a lot of names on that. Wow, I like that. Let's go. How many participants? I'm sorry, are in that wheel?
55.
Wow, let's go.
A lot.
All right.
Spin her up.
Here we go.
Oh, that's a line. Oh, we got Zion. That's what's up. Zion, Sir Zion's my boy. He's been around the game for a long time.
What nation is he from?
He 309 now, right? Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's in 309 with Rui and those guys.
All right.
So close yet so far.
Yes. I thought you were gonna
Gonna
get it, Bird.
Gonna spin it
Nah,
again
I
just for the second name.
This one too. I mean, I'm sure Zion's gonna take that, but
If he's gonna take it, yeah. I was just curious about the other one, but that's good. That's it. So I'll let Woody know who it was.
Congrats, Zion, bro. That's my dog.
Is he in here?
I don't know if he's here in the chat, but he's definitely a member, and he's definitely a badass warrior. Has been playing the game for many years, so
Okay.
probably deserving of the win.
Yeah, I just need people to message me their IDs and I can get it taken care of.
Awesome,
Congrats.
awesome. I'll make sure he gets the information. I'm sure he'll get a notification as well.
Congratulations to the winners.
And then Holbrook, I sent you another message too. But
I got your dick pic. I'll respond soon.
Let's go. Wow, I feel left out. Sending dick pics. I'm gonna send the goat and the Batman in chat. Let's go.
Oh no, Cowboy, give it to somebody else. No, I'm good,
okay,
bro.
that's why I was curious about the.
All right,
second.
my bad. Apparently I won, but no, I'm good, man. Pass that on.
So I guess it's going to Muckland, one of those. So
Let's
both of those
go.
people need to message me, him and Sir Zion. Just send the IDs or send them to Woody, either one. And that way I can have him send it.
Awesome, man. Good stuff. Keep it coming. I like it.
I'm sure he's gonna do a Christmas one too. We've been
That's so
talking.
funny. I was literally just thinking about that. I'm like, oh, we gotta do a big one for the holidays.
We can. I'm willing to pitch in to do a big one for the holidays, or do a couple
Let's
of them.
chat it up in chat and
Yeah.
let's put something together, man. I think that's a good idea for the community. Do a little Secret Santa type shit.
I'll throw a little something into. We'll figure it out.
Figure it out.
I like
Alright.
it. Thanks, brother.
Thank you.
I'll throw in one more dollar than Holbrook does.
Wow, got him.
That's a
I'm
lie.
drunk.
I take
Don't
that
challenge. There he is. Don't challenge the drunk goat. They got to merge.
Yeah. Don't challenge a drunk go. It's amazing. But yes, getting back to the thing, kick
Oh,
those
real quick.
fuckers out of the alliance, man. Good idea. I didn't think about that when I was going through this process. So good job on adding something to the kitty or the pot there. I think that's a great idea, and I think anybody searching for a merge should 100% do that. kick everyone out of the motherfucking farm alliances and lower that nation BP as much as you humanly possibly can. I did that by troop limit BP as opposed to kicking them out. And you know, leave it at that. Wasn't the best idea. Now I listened to what Holbrook did. It's a much better idea. Is get him kicked out of there, especially if you have control. But that was awesome. That probably saved you another billion BP. Thinking about it, you know.
Bro, these people have been laughing at 785 for a long time about our losses, and there's no hard feelings. There never is. I think that every nation, I think taking losses is one of the hardest things in the game, and we had to take ours, and we did, and people laughed, and that's fine. But the thing is, here I am, and there they are.
So
And,
who won your GC bracket this season? Sorry.
That's a great question, because here we are. 732 is amazing. They're dominant, and they have an additional merge, and everybody's crying about how they have the merge over everybody else in this globe. And now it's not globe. We're in different globes, but grouping, whatever the right word is. Now we're the only other nation. If they start GC again now, we're the only other nation that has any type of similar grouping. And I'm not here to start talking trash about GC already. Archie's amazing. 732 is amazing. I don't want any heat, but I'm just saying we put ourselves in a position to compete, not win,
Hell
but
yeah.
compete.
But that's what.
And,
100%, dude. 100%.
yeah, and
Whatever
nobody else
the
has
outcome is as long as you guys don't change brackets and whatever, there likely won't be another merger in your guys' globe, you know, before the next round of GC is whatever that is. So,
Let's
you
talk.
know,
LG,
somebody
let's
should
talk.
be able to give them a run for their money, man. You know, because that's
LG,
what it is.
let's talk strategy. They're 732. We're 785. If there's no more mergers, then that's our competition, and let's go. Let's see what happens. I don't know. You know, they're the champion, so we're just the underdog. If there
Well,
are
yeah,
more mergers, they're moving down. If there are more mergers, they're moving to
that's what
621.
happens when you get listen. It's ever flowing. You know, in the beginning
Right?
you're the best, and then blah blah blah, and then after the mergers, 6 months, a year, 2 years down the line, then you're not so great. You know.
No, but you know what I'm saying? Like 785, we're just happy to be in the conversation. And if nothing moves, we're good. We've got our merge and we're ready to rock and see what happens. And if everybody else gets their merges, then 732 moves down, and we're already still not in. We're not moving down. We're 785. We're not moving down to 61. Like that's gonna take a hot minute.
Yeah, that's gonna take a hot minute for sure. Everybody below you would need to get mergers first, which, in my opinion, is still next February. You know.
So whatever happens next GC, we can go
No,
have a good time.
you guys are in a great position to potentially dethrone 732, and I'm sure 732 is like, yeah, 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 come take it from us, because that's what I would say to anybody that was, coming in, and I've said that, listen, we're not the best in the world, we're none of those, stupid things, but right now we're the champs, we've won 4 times in a row, and we're gonna be the champs until somebody comes in there and takes it from us. And
Brother, I try to
I'm assuming they're of the same capacity. That's just it.
I try to learn from you, brother. You're the strongest player in the game, but you never assume anything, and you take your time. You take your losses when they're smart, and you win when it makes sense. And that's where I feel like we're at, which makes me excited.
Trust me, it absolutely sucked being in GC finals, not being able to compete season after season after season. And I almost felt bad by whatever being there because I knew we couldn't compete, but we would almost just get there organically. But once we got there, we couldn't win. And it was like several seasons, man. I don't want to say it was heartbreaking, but it was close to heartbreaking. It's like, fuck, man. It's like, dude, we're good, man. Like, I know, I just need like 20 guys, dude. That's like all I need. And, long and short of it is we eventually got it and we're holding on to it now. And the mergers that that happened around us. So us, like, we were the last ones to get merged essentially, so I feel like that's why we're the most dominant. It's because we didn't get a merger for so long. You know, and there's still a couple of 400 nations that only have one merger. You know, there's still a couple of fucking stragglers out there. You know, 429, 431, and I believe there's another one maybe, but I know those two specifically. They've only got one merger. You know, they're still fucking dog schlegging around. But if you go to their nations, there's, you know, proving our point for tonight's podcast. I just fought 431 in Void War in 357. That was my match today. I already kind of told you how that went. But there were so many people there. I should say cities. So
Right.
many alliances, so many random things everywhere. You know, there's like 5 main alliances. I remember when my R4 shot out the locations. It's like, why am I getting 10 locations? What the fuck? You know, I'm
So
used to like 4 or 5 maybe, you know. I got 10 locations. I'm like, what the fuck? Everyone was laughing at it. You know, but those guys are single merged nations and they got 10 random alliances out there full of fucking high tier troops. Shit ain't no good.
brother, I'm going to be honest. I don't expect to win the next GC. That would be crazy. I expect that we won't win the next one because we've won 2 before, but it's been a minute. And we need to sharpen the skills. And we're probably going to take a tough loss. Maybe. I don't know what'll happen, but we'll see. We'll probably take a tough loss. And then maybe we can challenge for the next one. And other people might get their merges between now and then, but we're going to be more mature. You know what I mean? We're going to be more
I was
gelled
gonna say,
together.
where does the merger situation around your globe I guess
No one,
grouping,
no
you know?
one, no one around us got a merge, but somebody did get 619, which is cool. But you already know 619 moved to 567,
Well,
and
yeah.
so
And can y'all hear me?
yeah, go really.
It should be noted that, interestingly enough, in the 785 bracket, I don't know if it's been confirmed or not, but apparently 722 got merged with 895. And I think they'd be crazy not to move up to 895. So I feel like that's a pretty interesting asterisk for that specific bracket, and also for the Globe 11 bracket as well. But specifically for 785, I would just assume it makes it easier for 785 to compete.
Yes. For those that don't know, 722 is the nation that hates Woody. It's the Chinese nation. They're extremely strong. They organize like the 3 against Woody. They're a lock nation. They're just, I can't even say more than
I
extremely
point
strong.
for them in fucking Elite War for Woody.
For sure. But you can imagine what they are in GC. And so having them just move aside and move up just makes it even easier, right? But
Yeah,
again,
I
no,
was more asking like the other people that aren't competing in your globe, are they still searching for a merger or have they gotten them mostly and
oh,
they're
bro.
just not competing anymore?
No, none of them have them. There's amazing nations that are waiting. 799s waiting, 767s waiting, 796 waiting.
Got it, got it,
Um,
got it.
all
So over the
these are
course
the
of the next, say, 12 months, it could be really, you know, crazy if these guys start getting merged because you're talking that's like Ducky and all those guys, 799. Yeah,
yeah.
that's like okay. So that's all your globe. Where's your globe cut
So
right now
seven
before mergers? I guess I would ask. Well, it's only a
seven
couple
nine
nations.
796 just moved into our GC group. So they made finals. The last finals I believe was 722, which as Relly just said moved theoretically. 732 finals winner. 767 finals they did not get a merge. And now I'm blanking. Who's the other one? Oh,
But it's about
796.
it's so it's right around 800 then, or like 796 is the cutoff.
Right. So 799 would probably move down if enough mergers happened.
Got it, got it. Understand.
You know, which would be tough. But I mean, like, anything can happen. But if we're already gelled and they get a merge, and you never know what's going to happen, right?
Yeah.
So
Does
we're going to.
732 still get the participation to, you know, or is it just the main alliance doing their thing?
No, they're incredible. They're great. That's a great nation. And I mean, like, But that's the thing. If a bunch of people start getting merges, because you know a bunch of people around you still need merges too, like 552 or whatever. If those guys start getting merges, then 732 is going to move down to the 621 bracket.
Yeah, I mean,
I
I would absolutely love to see like some crazy Globe One mergers. You know, Globe Two, whatever. I would love to see that. Like whatever.
it's a list of at least for the last GC what the brackets were.
I would just absolutely love to see some sort of movement in that regard. Because again, if they start getting them, that means eventually everybody's going to get them. Which I think would be great for the game, especially in the older nations. Because we still enjoy the game, but a lot of these nations are losing participation. So at the end of the day, I'd love to see some movement in that regard. And then it would
I
just shake everything up. Everybody could move, everybody could whatever. Leave out the big dogs for anybody who's won 3-4 GCs in a row, 12 GCs in a row. You're not getting a merger right now. Like fuck, like let Nation 30 and 52 merge together and then go fight 255 in GC. Like I want to see that. You know, whatever 5-6-7 getting a merger. Let 5-6-7 get a merger. They're a fucking problem. They're a fucking problem, man. You guys listen to me now. You know, like they're a problem right now. So like out of merger, it's that fucking Jesus Christ. I'm just gonna sit back and fucking hold my coffee. Like stupid things like that would just be great. So I feel like it would be awesome for all the shakeup. But if it were just gonna continue with the natural camel organicness, right? Which is status quo. We're not gonna go for the wishing well. So the status quo is who's getting their second merger, up in your thing, and how can that really shake things up? So it sounds like, and kind of bringing it back home, what it sounds like, there's still a lot of people in your globe, aside from 732 kind of being the powerhouse right now, that can get mergers. Movement can come down with like Ducky eventually is coming down to y'all shit. Like Ducky and the other guy, I forget his name off the top of my head. There you go. Like they're coming soon, so those guys with a merger can be scary, blah blah blah. So all those things can be fun, and I think that's what keeps the game alive. So that's gonna happen in your globe. Maybe not in this coming GC, but it will be happening, over the next 12 months, 2026.
No, but that's
So
good, right? Tip was
yeah, it
giving
should be.
Tip was busting my balls, and he's like, "Oh, now you got," because we didn't get a single merge nation. We got merged with a double merge nation. So 785 now has 6 nations in it, or 7, or whatever the number is. So I'm not even bragging about our nation. Now extrapolate that to if 796 gets a double merge nation, if 799 gets a double merge nation. So and then those all become stronger for 1 and 2 to also have an argument for getting their merges. So all of this stuff can be a lot of fun. Tip was giving me a hard time saying we're gonna lose everything now or whatever. I mean, he didn't, but I like breaking Tip's balls. Um, but he was like, you guys are gonna have harder matches, and I was like, yeah, I don't play the game to murder farmers and have a pretty ranking. I want to go. Like, let's go. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it'll be fun. I mean, depending on the nation, not the nation, but the alliance that you build, which I'm kind of anxious to see as your friend. It's like, what are you going to put together in your alliance per se after the merger? I think I think the number one alliance BP does have a lot to do with matching and things like that. So I'm anxious to see what that's going to grow to from what you're currently working with.
Brother,
Um,
I never talk trash, but all I'm saying is name off the top of your head how many alliances bring over 92 events.
no, dude, but you're one in 20. That can even potentially think about doing that in a specific period of time. Nonetheless, on a weekly basis.
So
So
I'm gonna keep recruiting on that alone. and people who want to spend smart and have a good time. And I mean, man, I can't even tell you. I give people garbage farms, like trash farms that they could never play in, and just say, just watch us play polar. You're not going to keep this city. Just watch us play polar, and then they're hooked, and that's it. And if the time doesn't work, then I'm screwed. I can't get them. Or if they don't like polar, then I'm screwed. I can't get them. But a lot of people show up, and then they see 90 people flying around, and they want to be part of it. You know, there's enough players in the game. The, I still love Void as much as you, brother, but there's enough players in the game that see people flying around in polar, and then they think to themselves, all we have to do is just tweak this a little bit, and then we got 90 player KE attacks too. Those are the people that are going to come play with me. I'm never going to compete with 255. That's fine. I'm going to have a good time in my nation, and anybody that plays with us is too.
Well, yeah, I mean, everyone, just based off of age alone, you're not going to be able to compete with certain nations unless, you do really extravagant things. I was more thinking like just the ever so process of, again, the organic status quo mergers that are going to happen, in your globe and later for the most part, because that's essentially where Camel is right now, in the status quo mergers. They're up in your globe essentially, or on the tail end of it, I should say.
If
And
you don't think if you don't think I'm already doing city transfers, if you will, with 667, you're crazy. You already know that I am, and so does
yeah,
everyone else.
yeah, of course, of course. Everyone knows that merger is the best time to do that. You know what I'm saying? Pick up the people who are trying to leave the game, make the yeah, absolutely. And that's again why I kind of mentioned, I'm anxious to see what you're going to put together here, in the coming weeks. And I think that's going to a lot to do with, how you're going to be matched up with, your new polar things to, get back to what Tip was saying, or whatever the case is. I think it's great that you guys don't necessarily care about head of state, and and you're focused on a couple of events. And even if Wasteland is or isn't a priority event, it sounds like it is. But 19-1, in the last however many sounds pretty decent, you know. And like at the end of the day, like these people are the double merge nation coming in, bringing this BP or whatever with them, because that's what it sounds like is what they're bringing is BP, and that's why Tip was talking shit. But if you don't care about head of state, that shouldn't necessarily matter. Number one, and number two, like you can really play off of that in a GC event. We want to talk strategy here, but 732 should be sitting here looking like, okay, like we need to be prepared for this. And we may or may not win, but we need to be at least prepared for this, because I don't know how long ago 732 was merged or how many merges they've had. Again, I'm not too keen on your guys' globe, but you might just be able to go and put 250, 250, 250, and they can't subsidize that. If they can't subsidize that, don't matter how strong they are, you know? Really it doesn't. So like there's a handful of ways to look at it, and and right now this next coming GC, if I'm you, you gotta push. This is the time. You always gotta push after a merger. We did after our first merger. We weren't able to be successful for a handful of reasons. But when we got our second merger, man, we were fucking ready, and right after the merger is the time to do it, unless you're obviously in like civil war or something gay. It sounds like you guys are putting your heads together, and you got to at least give it a run for their money, whether it's a failure or not. At least put together a good effort.
Yeah, for sure. Vegas's people won multiple GCs. Uh, 785 people won multiple GCs without Vegas back,
It's easy.
when
It's
me and
easy
my
to
crew were
pull the
running.
ram though, and buy a couple in the beginning though. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like that's kind of what Vegas
Oh,
did. Am I
no, for
wrong?
sure. But I'm not. No, no, I'm not trying
Okay.
to say that at all. What I'm saying is, we've been there. It's better when you've been there. When you
Yeah.
haven't
Yeah.
been there,
Exactly. Okay. I hear you.
it's harder when you haven't been there. That's all I'm trying to say.
100%. 100%. It's like 373. They're there every year, man. They won sub, they lose sub, but they're there every year. Doesn't matter merger, no merger. They're there every year, every season.
Bro, you know people who have never like been through a good void attack and then they get that first. I always laugh at whatever. I'm gonna put it out there. I always laugh at our second alliance because when they finally decided to attack me in Civil War, they like debuffed the farm next to me, and then a bunch of people attacked the farm next to me, and like half of them came to my city because you get that adrenaline pumping and you're not going to the right city or whatever. And when you've already won GC, you're not going to make those crazy decisions. You're not going to debuff the wrong city. You're not going to go to the wrong tower. So all I was saying is that we've been there, we've done it, and if we get back, that's great. And if we win, that's even greater. And if we don't, then we'll just try to learn and be better.
Hey, Holbrook,
Yeah,
did you
I
talk
think the
about
merger's
the
open
way
to
to
you
get
guys.
merged? Holbrook, did you talk about the way to get merged already?
Yeah, brother. Sorry, we've been over the whole thing. I told everyone burn everyone but the top two.
I got another idea though.
Go.
So 1132, I had players not like join GC at all whatsoever. The most participation we had was maybe two, I think round three, phase three or whatever. But that's it. And any other event, we sat out, whether it was like EOD or Triangle or whatever. But I think it mostly came from GC. We had our own farm rules. My band farms. Then kind of laid off it summer GC and allowed players to have about 2 farms, but most of the players weren't actually joining the farms. But I think it has to do with a lot of what Lee God was saying. Players jumping into farms and Camo seeing, hey, each farm counts as a player. So mainly that we did the BP thing around that globe. I think 3.2 billion for your nation is about what they look at. But we was losing everything. I'd let players play just to get some merits and have a little fun. That way they're a little entertained to stay in the nation. But winning wasn't really an option. So that, like I said, GC. Same thing for 1147. They were losing all events. That was like the key things I noticed between our nations was losing all events. So if that helps anybody.
I won't pretend that I know what the black magic is, but I would just say that 896 has been waiting for their merge forever, and they didn't even send like players to GC for years. And I don't know, man. You know, 785 just got their merge, and we're 13th in Polar. And I said it before, but I'm repeating. Sorry for anyone who wasn't on. We're 13th in Polar, which is not easy. For whoever doesn't understand, 13th in Polar is not easy at all. And I mean, go check your favorite alliances ranking, and it's probably not as good as 13th. And I'm not bragging. I can tell you right now, A58 is higher, 255 is higher. There's so many that are higher. I'm not trying to brag, but there's a bunch of great alliances that would give us a run for our money, and they're a lot lower. And we whoop ass in Polar. And
425 is ranked like 300 for conversation's sake.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna say it, brother, because you know I don't want that heat, but there it is. We did not, and like Lead God brought up earlier, man, like we lost literally our first fucking Wasteland ever, and I booted Vegas right after that, and we have never lost a Wasteland after that. So there's a lot of hype out there in the AOZ community about spenders cost you a merger and winning cost you a merger, and I'm just not sure. I don't work for AOZ. I don't work for Camel. I'm not going to tell you how you will or will not get it. I'm just telling you we focused on a couple events and we murdered them, and it worked well for our alliance, and here we are still merged anyways. But like a younger nation,
I don't think spending is the biggest factor because there was mega whales still spending crazy. Like Nabsy was spending.
Another data point, 1170, from like another aspect of events standpoint. 1170, I think they've only lost 1, maybe 2 voids. Don't quote me on exactly which one. But they I mean, they're extremely good on a record standpoint of head of state kill events. They got their merger this round. So, you know, whether
I
it's
think we gotta.
Polar, whether it's Wasteland, whether it's head of state, you know,
I think
you
we have to.
can't really say
Guys,
that.
I think we have to. Well, I think we
But
have to exclude first mergers because first mergers usually is done by timeline. I get it. There are some nations out there like 923 or 779 that hasn't received the first one yet. But for the most part, the first mergers is basically done from um, timeline, like a year and a half. Again, I don't know why those two haven't got one yet. But the second merger is, I think Holbrook was kind of right on par what he said because 736 did not show up for GC. We've lost plenty of freaking voids and events like that. We have literally cut out all the farming for a couple of months. But one thing that we have not done is eliminate the alliances because
yeah,
our nation BP is sky high. So that's something that's going to happen. And yes, it's going to cause civil war. I already know it's going to. But I mean, it's something. If I want to continue to play this game against big attacks, like we had an attack at 70 people versus our 22 that we can get online. Like that's it. At that point, we're irrelevant. We can't. 741 literally freaking beat us by 5 billion going into the kill event. 5 billion.
Yeah.
It's like no coming back from that.
Yeah,
So,
man.
like,
I mean,
it's-
everybody talks to Woody, and Woody's talking about maybe having civil war because he needs to get his merge. So whoever you are thinking about your nation, you don't talk to as many people as Woody does. You don't get as much information as Woody does. And if he's talking about it, you should be thinking about it.
I kind of want to do it some way to where I don't get everyone to quit the game, but I mean, it's got to fucking happen. We it's too much going on. Like,
yeah. I mean,
you got people.
looking at
Go
the
ahead.
the BP ranking for like the top 10 is kind of an area that I don't know, it just does something to my brain. It's an interesting place to kind of compare things like this. And when you look at seven, I mean, it's obviously the biggest outlier, but when you look at 779's top 10, it's just so fucking obvious that they're not going to be in contention for a merger as long as it looks like that. You know what I mean? So
That's
I
what you have to do.
remember, yeah, I
You have
remember
to.
when we were on a live a while back, and we looked at Eurus Woodies, and I remember one of the things that we thought about in that moment was like, yeah, I mean, I guess the easiest way for you to cut some weight without really affecting any of the actual players would be to essentially do what Holbrook did in 785, which was just kick everyone from the farm alliances. And that just cuts off like the bottom half of your nation BP essentially. So for people that have reached that point, I guess, where they feel like it's just time, like it needs to happen, that may be your best option to at least get started in the process. You know what I'm saying? And if people decide that they're going to quit because their farms are being turned off, and we're not even talking about their main cities, then I mean, maybe that it's just time for them to quit, you know?
Or move to a new nation and give activity up there. Put it this way: I lost 10 million BP during this last void, and guess what? I'm not healing this shit. I'm letting it die. I'm going to lower my BP. It's I went from what 360 down to 350. I know that's not a huge amount. I'm not going to heal it. Why should I? If I'm trying to lower my nation BP, why the hell should I? And also, I might even leave my alliance until merger. That's 350 million BP. That's affecting our nation BP.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely sounds like you're ready for one. So all of the things that have been mentioned tonight would be obviously a great place to start.
These are things that you have to do, right? If Woody leaves and then they get their immersion, Woody rejoins. How great does that look? Like if Vegas comes back out of nowhere, by the way, I have no communication with him. I don't know him. All of you that want to send me fucking DMs asking about him, you go find him. Stop asking me. I don't fucking know. But I'm just saying, imagine if we got our merge and Vegas returned. Imagine if
And
Woody
he
left his
sold three
alliance.
cities. And he sold 3 cities. Gotta say that too.
Yeah, I mean, whatever. I don't care if he keeps them or sells them. They're fucking dead now. Let's go.
I did see in the chat someone asked, "Is there a way to see the nation BP?" It's quite literally adding up your top 10 alliances on the alliance battle power ranking. It's the same exact number as the one that's shown during GC.
Yeah, it's just the top 10. Take your top 10, and if your top 10 is greater than 6 and you've had one merge, good luck.
You ain't getting one.
Yeah, and for first mergers, like if you haven't had a merger before, the rough average breaking point is somewhere around, like, most nations get it if they're below 5, but there are 100%, there's definitely outliers. I mean, 986 just got theirs, and I think they're literally somewhere in the 7 to 8.5 range. I don't know how the fuck they got one, but generally for unmerged, it's below 5.
I do want to say that 722, the Lock Nation, they are receiving a merge. It's a hidden merge. It's somewhere in the 800s. I think it's like what 865 or something like that.
895.
I'm not sure where. What's that?
895. So it's going to put them literally. They're going to be the very bottom nation in the Globe 11 bracket. So they'll be with 904 and 910, and 955 is dropping down into that bracket. So that final is going to be even sweatier than it was last time.
Well, that's if they decide to move. I know 722 has a lot of they like to pound their chests a lot. So if they decide to drop down to 722, the 700 Globe, I'm gonna be real, it's gonna be really hard to compete against them. But if they do go up, oh man,
how is the nation? Is the nation that they're moving or getting merged with? Are they decent in that Globe 11 or 12, whatever they're in?
Power-wise, they are. They're not like a Globe. They're not like a GC competitor currently, but like the top, like the top 10, top 20 cities are pretty strong.
So if they come together with 722, regardless of which globe they go to, they're going to be a problem.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, they're gonna have probably like 1841s.
Yeah.
Let's go. We're making a new 555.
That's exactly what's happening. They do fight. They show up with like 200 people each round.
I mean, I'll tell you, the 722 alliance has been ranked 20 consistently in Elite War for 2 years. Probably, and and I know that's not easy to do, so I have to give them their whatever. But they've been in that top 25, call it, for 2 years, and it's not easy to do. So you got to give them a little bit of credit. But yeah, getting a halfway decent nation, going to be a problem for if they want to try. Problem is they get 10, 12 whales doing something,
Can I say something controversial?
Please.
Always.
A lot of people have been crying about kill events, and they've been too afraid to kill their nations. I wasn't afraid. I got merged. It's time for you guys to man up. Give your balls a tug.
Oh, that's not against the grain. That's what we all agree with. That shit. What you talking about? I just cheers you, man.
Farmers to the new nations.
I'm gonna spark a joint to that. Pour one out for the homies.
Not you, brother. I mean, and I said give your balls a tug, but I'll actually say even more. Recruit some women that'll murder your fucking your pixel princesses. There's so many men that are so afraid to lose their damn troops. Get some women in your nation that'll murder these pixel princesses. All you guys want to win head of state, and you won't murder your farmers. Don't wait till fucking Void. That's 1 day a month. Fix your fucking nation, and you'll get your merge. With respect.
Yeah, you definitely can't rely on the enemy nation to come in and do your job for you. It's like, yeah, we're gonna come in and kill some farmers, but you have 29 other days to handle that as well.
No doubt. And I feel like you and Woody put out the blueprint all the time, and people
We
don't
do.
want to hear
We
it.
do.
All the time, bro. You've been doing it for years. Everything people are like, "What's your secret?" Listening to people that came before me and doing what they tell me. Oh, it's so genius, man. Just kill your fucking casuals and get on with it.
You know, push them to their new nations. Let them have activity up there. That's how. I mean, 9 times out of 10, those new nations, you get those people that are saying, "Oh, guys, I used to play in so and so. I know how to play." Those people got burnt, and they'll know how to play up to like C34, but then it's a different ballgame because that's
Dude,
when the
it's
game's really
so
started.
funny. I love that. Those are the people who got killed, and that nations from two, nation one, all the way to nation whatever. Those are the guys that were on the fence, or they got burned, they got killed, they lost all their troops, and nobody liked them, and then they went over there. Now they're gonna teach you how to get burned as a nation, not as an individual, but as a whole nation. They're gonna breed this fucking disgustingness.
I mean, the thing is also, if you just do what you have to do, it all works out. So, just a little quick side story. I went to Nation 1000 because I have to be polite in my nation, and I went there to cause trouble. And it's just not in my personality. I couldn't do it. So I ended up joining the Top Alliance and being helpful because I'm an idiot. And then eventually I was like, man, I can't run two cities. And so I just quit. And that nation did whatever it did. I have nothing to say about them, positive or negative, because I don't want any heat. But a year later, all of a sudden, somebody showed up in 785, and now he's one of the top 5 players in the nation, maybe top 2. I don't know, something like that. And he comes from 1000. I never met him before 1000, and he's great. I love him. I mean, he's a leader on the team. So like, you know, there's farmers everywhere, there's killers everywhere. There's people looking for good nations. You can play somewhere else if you want, but just know the younger nation's got a bunch of farmers. And you don't have to stick around. You can go back to a good nation and you can bring good people with you. Like good people find each other, I guess maybe is what I'm trying to say.
Has Camel done anything about the bot farmers in any capacity? Like at the high level that they were being made like 2 months ago? Is that still a thing, like at such a high level?
It's still a thing. It's still a thing up there.
So
They're
crazy.
not going to be able to stop the spot farmers unless they make personal accounts like how Chinese accounts are, where you got to tie your phone number to it. That's the only way they're going to be able to stop it.
Why would they stop it though, man? Don't they use their numbers for their calls to say
Well,
they
they're
have so
they're
many
they're
active
not going to
players?
stop the creation of cities to a phone number, or they're not going to start to a phone number because of what we talked about earlier. The they need the farmers to create numerous cities. It's the caveat to their game where they can hide subscribers. Where one person
Yeah.
is enticed to have more than one account. Where typically most people that are trying to build something big and beautiful, they want you to have one to one.
Plus, they're allowed to open up new nations every 3 days, I think it is now, which means it pulls more people into the game. But hey, my break's about to over. I got to jump back. I got to jump out of here.
Have a good night, Woody. Yeah, brother.
Yeah, definitely an issue, but not to go off topic. I was just wondering if that was still a thing.
I think it's definitely a thing, man. I want to get Kent from 1038 to talk on here one of these days about what life is like in 1038 because I think that's a successful nation. I think it's a void focused nation. I think they play other events. I think he's a smart guy. I think he's got some cool people with him. And anyone, right? Like, whatever. There's so many great nations. I want to name some just because I got love for a bunch of them, but whoever gets left out is going to be upset. But 910 is dope. 904 is dope. 858, of course, you all know. Anyways, there's a bunch of great ones. I mean, obviously 1111 too. There's so many good nations that can give so much good advice, but their lives are so crazy different. Like LG, there's not even a reason to talk about LG's life, but compare LG's life to 1038, where they got like 40 people who are just trying to murder every void and winning every void, like and just dealing with a bot farm nation. This game is crazy. It doesn't even feel like we're playing the same game. Like 255 is just good luck. You're never going to catch them. 425 is everybody knows. 785 is just trying to focus on participation. 1038 is fucking 40 people just winning every kill event. 896 is I don't even know how many people are playing, but man, they're focused on every kill event. 923, I think, focused on every kill event. It's just it doesn't even feel like we're playing the same game. But it's cool. I don't mean that in a bad way.
Yeah, every single one of those nations seems to have their very own different interpretation of how to get it done, and that's fun.
I mean, my advice to everyone is you need to focus on whatever you can be the best at. Like, so for people that don't know, recruiting people has gotten harder lately because merges have gotten harder lately. And so buying cities is more expensive. Trying to get people to come to your nation is harder. And if you're focusing on the same events as everybody else, what do you add? Like, what's your benefit? What's the reason that people should come to your nation? So then you have to find an advantage by something else, right? Like you need to offer something else. You need to offer a better social experience, or you need to offer a different event focus, or you need to offer a different strategy, or, like I've never heard of an Iron Blood focused nation. But if you are an Iron Blood focused nation, I don't know, maybe you could just get some
Bro, I just
heroes.
spit my Rice Krispies, bro.
I'm just saying,
You're not even
when
lying, bro. I just spit my Rice Krispies when you said that, bro. An Iron Blood focus. Get the fuck out of here.
I mean, it's crazy.
Hilarious.
Yo, but come on. You know there are Iron Blood focused language.
Bro, I'm
Bleh.
dying right now. I cannot
I can't
believe
even
that's
I
can't
can't even
fathom
mumble those
that.
words out. Come on, bro. Live, laugh, toaster bath. I
So
promise you. I
too funny,
promise
man.
you there's Iron Blood nations.
But that's the same thing as like a triangle war, DOD nation, right?
Actually, if we're still giving good advice, I played somebody recently, and after we had them beat, we cleared the board, and they hadn't cleared the board, and we had less attackers. Two guys hit with a gold and then revived and then hit with a gold. Both of them, fucking whatever that is, $600 down. And I sent someone a message in their nation because they were like, hey, can you check my stats and give me advice? And I was like, my first advice is, what the fuck is wrong with your whales? They just wasted $600, threw it in the fucking toilet. They should have sent that in Z coins to anybody in your alliance. Like, what are you guys doing? And I heard it happened again. I'm not going to name the nation. I heard it happen again just like days ago where somebody already lost and revived and then used a gold shield like 4 times. Like what are these people doing, man? I don't understand. Why would you not just send $600 in blue coins to your team instead?
Maybe they're trying to raise the individual rankings. Because that's the only potential answer to have, but it's a really stupid one. I mean, maybe if you're trying to, I think Tip did that to, went and spent a little bit to outpoint me once, or Bo did run into sit, whatever. to outpoint me, but they also won the event. But it's just crazy. It's crazy to think that you lost and you lost. Maybe, you could only think that maybe they didn't know they lost, but I don't know. There's no ranch. It's just stupid. I agree. What, you should have sent your $600 to your buddy down the street or bought some officer skill books or something because I don't know. It's just dumb. People spend money on dumb things. I had Mecha G drop the bomb in Iron Blood on me from 429. That guy from 429, that strong guy. For I clearly just wrecked his city, with like half a fleet or something gay. But yeah, he dropped that bomb. Like, well, dude, why'd you do that?
I
you
think
know?
it's a very simple equation. If you're Duck, and I don't like to talk about people specifically, but Duck has got a max city, right? If you're Duck, you can spend on whatever you want, do whatever you want. It's not a problem. But if your city is not max and you're
Yep.
throwing away $500 on Triangle when you've already lost, you are making the worst fucking decision I've seen all week.
It's true. When you go against certain people, or even if you're trying, I mean, me as a leader, I usually lead those, events. And even if we're about to lose, against a handful of teams out there, it's just like, all right, guys, like this is it. And I may have spent, and again, I'm a whale, so it's okay in my opinion for me to spend a little bit. But same thing, I'm okay to, drop a couple of goals to their process to, take a peek at their defense, see how many, real items they used or otherwise. Because that's usually the deciding factor in those things is, items one way or the other.
No, let me
But
be clear. In the specific the event that I'm referencing, I made like, maybe monetarily stupid decisions. I also revived. I may have also used 3 gold attack events items. But we won. We moved to the front. We had less attackers. I was using it when we still had the ability to move forward and succeed. These guys were mathematically completely eliminated. I had cleared the board myself. And this guy was like talking to me like, "Hey, can you check out my stats and tell me where I should focus?" "Yeah, man, I'm happy to help you out. Yeah, let me look at the battle report, whatever." And then his alliance, his whales start attacking. And I'm like, "Hey, what are your people doing?" And he was like, "Oh, well, they just want to test their strength against you." Like, I don't know. Maybe that's okay, a reasonable idea. But if your
it's
city
not a
is
good
low,
it's
no, it
not a
doesn't make
good
sense.
test of strength, ladies and gentlemen. If there's a charge button, it's not a good test of strength if you can add something to it, like a gold item. And that goes for, I don't know, Polar War, Wasteland, me going 1v1 against Ronaldo in Polar War is not a KPI, it's not a test of strength. Same thing with in these scenarios, when you're lighting up an orange, you know, fucking attack item versus a defense item or whatever it's such a change of your real stats, and it's not again, a good parameter of your quote test of strength in this conversation. It's exactly what Holbrook started us off with. It's just a waste of money, and if you
That
want to test somebody's strength, I think the best test of strength against capable teams is Elite War, and then the whales can go. You have the first battle in the beginning. You can have that set up. It's like, listen, everybody's we're not going to sneak bases. We're not going to do nothing. We're going to have one battle in the middle, us versus you. And but if there's some whale talk, and I think I did this with the 157 Alliance, Zip, and a couple of other guys along the way. But me and another guy just go up in a tower all by ourselves. Everyone stays out of it, and I get an attack and give you a defense and whatever, and everyone can mosey along their way. I think that's usually the best, unless you got a void war against each other and you can do like a flag experiment. I think that's a good idea sometimes when you're trying to do true test of strength. Obviously, you got the U mine, like that's a pretty good test of strength. But really, city for city, would be the best. But everyone's got extra troops. I think that's very fair.
Dab's in chat. DabX is in chat, and he said, emotional spending analysis is funny. He's not wrong, but I think there's a difference between it's fun to get petty or whatever. It's different when you've already lost. That's what I'm talking about. Like if you wanna YOLO, go ahead. I mean, if you got the money and you want to YOLO, go ahead. But when you have already lost, I don't get it. I don't understand it. I'd rather send 100 coins to someone else. You know what I mean? Like if I've already lost, losing more and just throwing money away at it, I don't understand it at all.
Yeah, I get the emotional spending, but when you get the answer and it's, oh, he wanted to test his city against yours, it's just like, all right, well, is it really a test when you're using a gold item that reduces X damage and does this much more attack and this much more, whatever the stupid item does? I just don't think it's a good, yeah, I don't think it's a good KPI at all. It's not a 1v1. It's not a test. It's kind of whack.
There's no
Chaos Land time.
Yeah, for sure. I'll be there. There's no test though, man, outside of like what LG's saying or outside of Uranium Mine, like even Royal Arena. People are just paying for buffs, man. Like that's not a real test.
Yeah, I agree, man. I agree. It's definitely not a test. That's why I free play it. That's why I free play it.
I gotta go. I gotta go handle my merge. You guys have a wonderful night. Thank you for all
Yo,
your time.
Holbrook,
Thank you
man.
for listening.
Talk soon. All right, I'm gonna take that as a good time to cut the evening. We've been on for a good few hours here. It's been a good talk. I appreciate Holbrook. He's gonna go over there and kick a little ass, get a little bit of merit, and I think those guys. How long does it take to get merged after Chaos Land? There's 3 phases, so you'll have
I think
you'll have
it
a gate.
happens on the 3rd, so like 2
Okay.
days.
Yeah, so that's not bad. So that's always fun to. He'll be busy. They'll be busy just putting the nation together for a handful of days after the actual merge. So that'll be fun to watch those guys come together. I'm excited to see a couple of other good nations that I kind of got my eye on watching to grow through the process. But Holbrook's a buddy of mine, so I'm kind of anxious to see what they can put together over there. I didn't know that 667 or whatever that nation is was already double merged. So that's definitely a good little plus for them. So it'll be cool to see what they can put together.
Yeah, I'm gonna live vicariously through that merger for a little bit.
Yeah, I didn't want to rub it in much more than it probably already has tonight. But yeah, man, keep staying strong. And doing your old thing over there. Can't do much
get
more other than that.
All right, y'all. I'm gonna head out.
Yeah, I'm gonna do the same, guys. It's been a good night. We'll see you guys same time, same place next week. I know Woody's gonna be doing the Void War matchups and all that stuff here in the coming days. So look out for his notification. And again, the winners from the spinny thing earlier from Patreon there. I'll message Zion to make sure he does. But the other guy out there, I forget his name, but I know it's in chat. Make sure you guys reach out to Cowboy or Woody and get those commanders numbers, get those coins. And we'll see you guys next week. Kill it. Appreciate it, man. Good night.
Peace out.